Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. Why do I have these on? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, small law firm in central Minnesota, broadcasting one last time, for now, from Florida. So this is the last show of the week, most likely, because I will be driving back to Minnesota starting tomorrow. I was not a minute late. How dare you? I will be in a car for 3 days, driving back starting tomorrow, and so I will not be doing a show tomorrow unless something very, very weird happens. Car video stream. You'd hear nothing but complaining children the entire time. The entire time. So anyway, fair warning. Fair warning, I will not be streaming tomorrow unless there is some sort of act of God that changes things. That seems unlikely, although I have now tempted fate. I am tempted fate, so that'll be a mess. Yeah, car driving stream with $2 text-to-speech, and it's all just, shut up back there. Shut up back there. Shut up. That's what we need to do. Oh. If I was, Thank you, Scott McKnight. If I was driving alone, I would happily do a car stream with you guys. If I was road tripping somewhere, that'd be great. That would be fantastic. But driving with all the children in the car, I don't know if that would work out so well. I've got to address this right away. Rekieta says, if you miss next week's live chat Wednesday, I'm going to burn all the buildings down. I don't think I will miss it. Although I may have to, some point here as the school year gets started, reschedule live chat Wednesday entirely. I am not sure about that. Just letting you know that there may be some changes coming. But Mr. Rekieta, who is definitely not Nick Rekieta, I will let you know that this coming weeks and pretty much the entire month of September is going to be a Patreon Blitz, patron Blitz month. 3 weeks. No, I was at one of them. But this whole month is going to be a Patreon, not Patreon, but a patron Blitz month for everybody. So if you are a subscriber on any of the things, there will be lots of patron specific content that's Patreon, Subscribestar, and even some of the YouTube membership stuff. So that will be happening this month to make up, or this coming month to make up for August, which was noticeably deficient because of this trip. So I was on the one after she blew a tire, I think. And then I was on one down here. Anyway, I'm not going to argue with you. Because your criticisms are valid and taken. And so therefore, I agree with you. Like I said, I will be doing a Blitz month to pick up. So there should be a good amount of patron-specific content. What's up, Pickle? Coming out this next month. Cooking streams and all sorts of fun stuff. So anyway, lots of hangouts. Directors D&D may be a thing. I have to figure out a time. And right now my schedule's about to get very hectic as the school year kicks up and homeschooling really starts to take effect, because it's not just the schooling, it's all the activities that the kids join. But yeah. So anyway, that is coming up. Your wailing has been heard and the gnashing of teeth has been logged. So that's that. But this is the final stream from Florida. Like I said, the next stream will probably be Monday, although I'm going to try on Sunday. I just don't know that I'll be home in time to do a YouTube stream. Are we really? We're having the internet troubles already? Already with the internet troubles? I am tired. I'm tired of the internet troubles. I don't know what it is. I'm hoping it's just a Florida thing. And I'm hoping it's fixed. You know, I'm hoping it's not just a YouTube thing. Anyway, if that happens, it's probably just a hiccup. It's probably just a hiccup that lasts a couple seconds, and just hit refresh and everything will be fine. But anyway, I'm mostly looking forward to being back to all my different monitors. My setup at home is more conducive to live streaming than this one. That said, tonight we will be talking about someone being arrested for threatening the Minnesota governor, Governor Tim Walz. And we're going to look and see if it's a threat or not under the statute. We've got hashtag justice for Kyle, which means we're going to be talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. Rittenhouse? Is that his name? I keep wanting to say Rittenberger, but it's Rittenhouse. Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse. And we will actually be reviewing the charging document. The charging document for Kyle with the probable cause statement from the police. We will look at the actual charges, and we will just kind of see what they show us. CJ has the Linwood link to Kyle Defense Fund if you want it posted. Yeah, go ahead and post it, please. And then I will bring it up on stream when we get to that section. And then we're going to look into Joseph Rosenbaum. He is according to the internet, he is a sex offender. Although, I'm not entirely sure that that's accurate. Now, I know I've seen the screenshots. They're very compelling. What I can't find is the actual record. And the only explanation for why I can't find the record is that they remove people when they get proof of death. So, but it's really fast for them to remove him from the offender list. It'd be like a day. So, I'll show you. It's not there. And more concerning to me on this Joseph Rosenbaum thing. Now, let me be clear. Joseph Rosenbaum's he seems like a complete dirtbag. And there's plenty of reasons. He actually shouldn't have been there. He should have been in jail. And we'll talk about that as well. But we're gonna talk about that. Yep, Breck, I have the New York Times timeline. We're gonna talk about this Joseph Rosenbaum guy because removing him from the list is really fast, and I can't find his original conviction that's cited as his thing, as him being a sex offender. I can't find it. I can't find any record of it at all. I can find records of other things. The records are incomplete, but his original citation down in Arizona for the sex offender charges doesn't appear in the Arizona records, and I can't find him on the federal register. I can't find him on the Arizona register, and I can't find him on the Wisconsin register. So that's it's just interesting. I don't, and maybe they're legit. Maybe they are. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just advising caution on this. The records we can see, I'm going to show you. And they sure don't look good for him. I know it's supposed to be out of Arizona in 2002. The problem is it's not there from 2002. There's a 2014 thing from Arizona for him, but that's not 2002. So anyway, I'm just going to advise a little bit of caution. This is the age where misinformation can come from anywhere. And it is not hard to doctor up a screenshot of him being a sex offender. I'm not saying it is doctored, but we're going to look at the records that do exist in both Arizona and Wisconsin. Whatever they are, we'll take a look at them. And this guy is a scumbag. Make no mistake. And like I said, he had jumped bail. The only good news is he won't be able to jump bail again. But that's it's kind of a weird thing. And the only reason I bring it up is because I was trying to verify this info as best I can, and I simply couldn't do it other than screenshots. So maybe someone got an archive link of it or something like that. Entirely possible. Maybe it was removed legitimately. They do remove dead offenders when they get proof of death. So that's a possibility as well. Seems a little bit fast for that. Seems a little bit fast. The courts don't even have him listed as deceased yet. So that's, like I said, just urging caution on this one thing I can't verify. But we're gonna look at his stuff and see what's out there. So anyway, fun times, lots of fun times. Always, I hate being the guy who's like out here saying, well, I mean, it's funnier if he's a dead pedophile. Like that's a better story, but it might not be true. So that's it. Can you look for Internet Archive links or Google Cache links? Yeah, somebody can. I can try. I'm not very good at it. If someone has them and they DM them to me, I'm happy to display them. Eagle Loan, I did. It's not there. Why does no one believe that I do anything? Look, here, I'll show you. Here is this the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry? Here, we'll do it. We'll do it live. Wisconsin Sex Offender Registration. Whoop, here it is. Sort. Yeah. I agree to use this for only proper purposes. I am not a robot. Okay, hold on. I gotta adjust the window here so it's proper size. Okay, so we go Rosenbaum, and then we go, what's his name? Joseph. Search. No offenders found. Now this is the website with the screenshot. This is the website with the screenshot. They're all over the place. You can see. I mean, here's one of them that was pretty famously passed around. Right here, this left side. This is supposedly from there. He's not on the national one either. Yes, try just his last name or just Joe. Here, guys. There are no Rosenbaums in the Wisconsin thing. He's not under Joe either. I'm misspelling his name. Let's see. I don't think so. because I've got, if you want to see, I've got his court records right here. Here's Joseph D. Rosenbaum, born 1983. This is him. Kenosha, Wisconsin. These are his open cases. Here's the spelling. He also goes by Joseph Don Rosenbaum, which is listed, and Donald, which are listed on the other names on one of the other screenshots. I'm Rosenbaum. And that's it. I'm not misspelling it. It's just not there. So I can put the D in there. It doesn't matter. Joseph. Search. He's in the ADCRR inmate data search. Let's see. The Arizona Department of Corrections. Let's see. Go. Okay, that was no active records found. Here we go. Is this him? Okay, here he is on this thing. Let's see what this says. God, can we get Joseph Rosenbaum, prison release date 2017. He was admitted in 2016, 8/9/2016. Let's see what we have for this thing. So this is the sentencing date. Okay, so here it is. Here's the sexual conduct with minor. There we go. There we go. Thank you for that. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, I'm convinced. Again, I was unable to find it on the Wisconsin or the national offender list. So he was removed. And since I couldn't find, I still can't find his initial case here in 2002. What may have happened, as I'll show you this is actually kind of, here's what we have in 2014 for him. State of Arizona versus Joseph Don Rosenbaum or whatever. This doesn't show anything. There's nothing available. And I even signed up for their thing. They don't have anything special, but hold on. Stupid CAPTCHA code. He does have this petition here, and this is a name change of Rosenbaum. So I don't think we have any documents available for this. There's nothing on the document search. I don't know if what his old name was. So this is, if his name changed, his original case may be under something else. That's all I got. That's all I got. But anyway, that's it. But this is interesting. So this is good because this shows at least there is sexual conduct with a minor that is verifiable at this point. Because I was really worried that there was some sort of ham-bone thing. Look at this, 40. This guy looks like he was very good at following instructions. That's why he has 40 disciplinary infractions. Disrespect, staff obstruction, disobeying an order, staff obstruction, staff Disobeying, not an authorized area. Disobeying. Give or receive a tattoo. Refusal to work. Assault with a weapon. Disobeying. Possession and manufacture of a weapon. Disobeying. Tampering. Disrespect. Possession of contraband. Disobey verbal written orders. Tampering with security device. Assault on staff. Assault on staff. Assault on staff. Assault on staff. Throwing substances. Gross. Gross. This is probably feces, semen, or urine on 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I don't know if they might be spitting, but I doubt it. Tampering with security, safety device, arson, possession of drugs or narcotics, assault on staff, obstructing staff, and disobey verbal written orders. This is while he's incarcerated. So he had some disciplinary appeals. The findings were upheld. Here's his custody risks. Parole placement. He's a real gem. He's a real gem. He's got some different work stuff here. So good job. Good job, guy. Seems to be an upstanding and nonviolent citizen. And this is just this thing. We've actually got, like I said, here's his criminal cases. And I have the relevant ones pulled up. I didn't, let's see. Wait, I don't want to say what I was going to say here. Let's see. This is, okay, that's that one. We'll do that one in a second. Here we go. As always, right? As always, with these types, we've got domestic abuse. Domestic abuse. Again, this is Joseph D. Rosenbaum, battery and domestic abuse. He has a hearing coming up. Let's see, where does... he had a pretrial conference on August 14th, 2020, and his final pretrial was on September 3rd, 2020. We've got, he's got his notice of hearing. But I want to point out something. He also has, where to go? This one, which is great. Notice what this is. Bail jumping. A bail jumping misdemeanor. Phoenix Rises. I'll check it out in just a second. Thank you. Here's he was jumping bail. So I want to point out that the accusation is that he was jumping bail, which means that he should have been in jail. Right? Is that what's going on? Let's see. Let's see what happens. So just July 20th. So this isn't old either. This is current. This is current. July 20th, complaint filed for the domestic assault. Defendant in custody and appeared in court with attorney by Zoom. Court finds probable cause in this case today. Notification of not guilty plea. Pretrial conference set for August 14th. Final pretrial. $1,000 signature bond set with conditions. Record amended to middle name of Don, not Donald. Then he's got a no contact order, including the residence, electronic, or third party with Carrie Ann S. Matthew K. So Matthew K. Okay. Oh. Carrie Ann S. and Matthew K. So it's probably like an ex and her current boyfriend or something, if I had to guess. Who knows? The defendant may make arrangements with a party or law enforcement to retrieve personal property and or medication from the victim, Carrie Ann S. residence within 24 hours of signing of the bond. He may not be the party retrieving any property and or medication. So someone else has to go. We've got signature bond signed, public defender order appointing counsel, demand for discovery. He's got a judicial transfer, assignment of judge, return of unclaimed and undeliverable mail. So this is why he's got the bond skipping going. I'm guessing that's on 8/10, and we've got. Oh no, his bond skipping complaint was on 7/30. So let's see. Right, this is the bail jumping, or bail jumping, I mean. Cash bond, transfer, public defender. Similar case history here. I wonder if he's got... This is a mystery. We may never find out. I wonder what was going on here. If this is related to the other case or what. It might have just been some other violation. Hard to say. I have no idea how to read Wisconsin stuff. But he's got 4 of them here. So this is... Hold on. 903 and 836. So 836. Oh, these are just double entries for each one. Gotcha. So yeah, long story short, this is a parallel tracking case. Same filing, or no, 10-day filing difference. But whatever. This guy shouldn't have been out there. He shouldn't have been out there at all. He's a domestic abuser. Apparently, he's accused. He's accused. We'll never know if he was guilty or not. But that's nice. Anyway, a true gem and an upstanding hero. As is being touted by people like GoFundMe. Very, very disappointed in GoFundMe right now. That's actually a... really bothers me. I assume you guys saw GoFundMe's tweet. If not, I'll pull it up real quick. This made me annoyed. Here we go. Things that annoy me. GoFundMe's tweet. This isn't about our guy that we're talking about. This is about another one though. And here it says, here's the verified GoFundMe to support the family of Anthony Huber, the hero who gave his life attempting to take down a gunman in Kenosha and save others, because that's what he was trying to do. That's what he was trying to do. All funds will be sent to Anthony's partner and stepdaughter. Partner and stepdaughter. It's not married. Or maybe is married. I don't know. I'm not going to pull it up. Wow. GoFundMe has actually... I think this went down from when I looked at it. But this is a really, really disgusting look here. And GoFundMe, by the way, has taken down the account of Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse has an official page. L. Lynn Wood is representing him. If you don't know who L. Lynn Wood is by now, he is the attorney who is representing Nicholas Sandmann in his lawsuits against the Washington Post, CNN, and so on. He will not be local counsel because he's not, as to my knowledge, licensed to practice in Wisconsin, and he has named the firm on his Twitter account, the firm that will be that will be local counsel. But L. Lynn Wood is there, and so there is this giant thing. We got Lynn Wood, Pierce and Pedigo, I think. Are the two guys, the Wisconsin counsel. He's got smoldering eyes. No, I'm just kidding. So Linwood is here, and this is a problem. Like, oh, they don't have a ticker. Look at how far down you have to go to donate. You should just, Lynn, put a big donate button right up here, right up top. It doesn't say, they don't have like a running tally what it is. But apparently this is their sort of homebrew GoFundMe page. So you can check it out. Yeah, that's the Richard Jewell lawyer as well. That's the Richard Jewell lawyer. It's right at the top. Is it? Oh, click here to donate. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see it, though, so it's not good enough. If I don't see it, it's not good enough. Who looks at banner things? Go away. It should be right here. It should be a big, giant button. It should say, Doe, and then Nate right next to it. So anyway, I'm not going to read through this. If you want to support him, you certainly can. You know, I have a lingering suspicion that Lin Wood is, well, representing him basically pro bono. But it's kind of what he indicated in his tweet, although it doesn't say. I'm not going to read it. That's too much work. It's too much work, and we've got other stuff to talk about. But anyway, that is there. Here is, it's fightback.law. So I'll copy and paste that into the chat. CJ also put it up in the chat. It's good. I mean, you can, that's the verified one. If you want to donate to him, go donate to him. If you don't. Perfectly fine. Man, my brain is thinking about a drive tomorrow. So, okay, and I'm doing things out of order. I had a very specific order set up, and you guys have got me. You guys have got me all flummoxed. Let me read the grifting, and then we will check out this this thing about Governor Walz real quick. That's a quick story to go through, and I think it's just interesting because we can look at what the requirements are, or talk about, I guess, what the requirements are for a terroristic threat and see whether or not this one qualifies. And then, and also kind of laugh because politicians getting threatened is funny. It's funny. I don't think they should get threatened, but it's funny because our whole country was built on threatening politicians. So anyway. And then we're gonna get into Kyle Rittenhouse, and that's where we're gonna spend most of the time. I've got a Slate article that is just nasty that we're gonna go through, and I've got the charging documents for Kyle Rittenhouse that we're also going to go through, and I think they're both very interesting. And then I want to take a look at a specific thing. Let me get it. No, I'll do it in a minute. I don't need to do it now. I want to take a look at the comments on the law about minor possession of firearms, because I think they've charged him with a crime that he's clearly not guilty of, and we will be. I think he'll get that case, that cause of action dismissed very quickly, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of it. Yeah, we'll just go from there. We'll go from there. Britney Spears, I may talk about her a little bit. I don't know. I need to get more information. I'm going to try and get more documents about it because they're available somewhere. They're just kind of hard to find because it's a very private thing. For those of you, it's just sort of a preview on this. I'm going to be talking about Britney Spears' conservatorship coming up. Britney Spears created a trust back in 2002 when she would have been 21 years old, and she created a trust and put a bunch of property in there for the benefit of her children because she made a whole boatload of money, and it's a good way to protect the assets. The problem was Britney Spears then went crazy. Not too long after, she shaved off her hair and notoriously had a downward spiral and kind of went nuts publicly. And when that happened, her dad and or whatever moved for a conservatorship to be established because she was not competent to handle her money, and Britney Spears doesn't have control over her own money. So Think about that. Like, Britney Spears has made millions and millions of dollars, and she doesn't have her own, she doesn't get to pay her own bills. And she still doesn't have it, and it will be at least another 6 months until she has the potential to have it. She's trying to get it back. And a whole bunch of celebrities have come out. Even her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband or whatever has come out, and they all say that that Britney should have access to her own money and be in charge of her own affairs. But her dad and now her sister are resisting that. So there you go. It's been a real scandal, though. So anyway, long story short, that's coming up, but I want to get more of the story. I'm doing a little bit of reading on it, and there's documents out there somewhere, and I want to try and get them if I can. Okay. Grift time. Andrew War Snowboard says, I can't watch your stream as often as I'd like to anymore due to changes in my schedule responsibilities. I enjoy the content as always, and thanks for the retweet about my Twitch channel. Yeah, man, no problem. Hopefully you had some success with that and have fun doing it. The Dragon's Treasure says, can you go into the legalities of if-then threats? Example, if you attack me, I'll Minecraft you. But pertaining to threats towards rioters, example, if rioters came to my neighborhood, I'll Minecraft everyone I can. That's not a threat. Threats have to be particularized at a victim, and have to be intended to be threatening. Does that make sense? It's kind of a tough, weird sort of standard. We're going to talk about it on the Governor Walz thing in a little bit, because it's not very easy, because it really strongly, any regulation of threats implicates your First Amendment rights to speech. So, Phoenix Animation says, hey, Rackets, just want to wish you and your family a safe trip home. Thank you. I'm currently driving to UltraCon. God, I'm jealous. Booth setup is tomorrow. To the chat, if you're in the Florida area, come by and show support to Vic and a great con. Man, I wish I could go. I really do, but it won't work out for me, unfortunately. Loric Project says, of course it's a stepdaughter. These losers can't even make their own children. Oh, that's a nice little bit of savagery. Okay. We will do this. Let's go to Governor Walz. Let me find that story real quick. I've got it bookmarked. Okay. So, here we go. We've got man charged with threatening Governor Tim Walz. We're going to put your dead body in that building. Oh, now, to preface this, Sic Semper Tyrannis, right? Like, go, that's my approach. And I think, outside of very, very specific threats to politicians, like there's a bomb in your house, those types of things, I don't have, it's going to sound awful, I don't care. And I don't think, I think there should be an even heightened protection for people to express displeasure at their lords, at their overlords, right? You're just not going to get much sympathy from me being the governor of a state and having people mad at you when you make policy or do something that they don't like and then saying something hyperbolic. So let's start the analysis this way, and it's going to get a little more complicated. We're going to put your dead body in that building is not a threat of violence. Under Minnesota law, we're going to put your dead body in that building means we are literally going to put your dead body in that building. It does not mean we will kill you and put your body in that building. It does not mean we will kill you in that building. It does not mean anything other than we're going to put your dead body in that building. So whenever your body happens to be dead, we will transport it and place it in the building. Under Minnesota law, idioms do not count for threats of violence, generally speaking. You could get to a case where an idiom counts. It's a disfavorable reading. The way to prove a terroristic threat or a threat of violence in Minnesota is to have a particularized criminal act be threatened or be conveyed to another or to a third party with the knowledge that it will be conveyed to the target and with the intent that the target will feel threatened by it. You do not have to intend to do it. Okay? That's the, like if I say, I'm going to come over to your house and cut your fingers off with a wire cutter. All right? That is a particular criminal act. And if I convey that to you, if I don't own wire cutters and wire cutters are removed from the earth before I have the opportunity to grab some, so I can't actually do the thing, that doesn't matter. What matters is when I said it to you, did I intend to convey a threat of violence that would make you afraid? So did I put you in a position to reasonably fear the threatened act? That's the standard. And it's a very particular way of looking at things. Because if I'm just saying, because you know what you don't want, right? Like, you don't want 14-year-olds who gets a pie shoved in his face and being like, I'm going to kill you assholes, right? That would not be a threat of violence. I'm going to kill you typically is not a threat of violence. As weird as that sounds. It's a particularized criminal act that has to be threatened. I'm going to punch you in the face, you piece of shit. If I'm intending to convey fear in you that you will be punched in the face, that's the criminal threat. Now, what if I'm an amputee with no arms and I'm typing with my nose or through a straw like Stephen Hawking or something? And so I literally can't punch you in the face. Doesn't matter that I can't do it. If you don't know that and you are threatened by it, that's the standard. Okay. So there's a lot of talk to say, we're going to put your dead body in that building is not a threat of violence. However, that's not the whole statement. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. You're going to be pushing up daisies is not a threat either. That's the idiom I'm talking about. So again, two parts. It's got to be a particularized threat of violence and an idiom that implies it. Like we're going to put you 6 feet under. Okay. That's not a violent act. When you break it down into logical, plain English, you have to know the idiom means we're gonna kill you and bury you 6 feet down. I'll check it out, Wolvenar. I'll check it out in just a second. I see you. So anyway, but that's not the whole story. Let's get to the story. And it's funny that WCCO doesn't get the important part of this statement. So a warrant has been issued for the arrest of Sean Peter Simonson, 51, who's charged with threatening Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Simonson from Blaine admitted to leaving 2 menacing messages on the governor's reception line 4 months apart. The first was on April 7th, for which he met with a Minnesota State Patrol trooper and a Blaine police officer afterwards. Authorities said Simonson said at the time that he had anger management issues. No. I don't believe it. They don't have that statement here, which is a shame. I bet it's creative. The second call occurred on August 2nd when Simonson left the following message to the governor's line. And I quote, "So you just endorsed Omar, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, the one who married her brother so she could become a citizen. You are a," I'm guessing it's fuck. "Let me tell you something about that $6 million building you bought, that refrigerated building that you bought that is standing empty. Your fucking dead body is going to be on the only body in that building. We're going to put your dead body in the building and then we're going to burn it down, fuckface." Oh, to call the Minnesota governor, leave a voicemail that says, "We're going to put your dead body in that building. We're going to burn it down, fuckface," is pretty funny. I don't care. I don't care at all. But yeah, that's what we've got for the threats. Now, is this a threat of violence? We'll see. We'll see what else is said here. 2 days later, a trooper called Simonson about the message. He said, "I wasn't thinking straight when I said those stupid things," and that he was feeling sick about it the last day. Simonson also apologized and said he's no threat to the governor and that he's frustrated by the virus and the riots. He also said he's been banned on Facebook in the past for his comments. No, I don't believe it. I think he's lying about that. That doesn't seem true at all. I don't know. This guy does not seem to have the type of proclivities in his commentary that would lead Facebook to ban him. So I refuse to buy that communist trash. I think he's definitely lying about that. Let's see. Simonson has been charged by the Ramsey County Attorney's Office with a felony count of threats of violence, reckless disregard, risk. His bail has been set at $30,000, and he could face up to 5 years in prison if convicted. Here's, depending on this guy's criminal record, if he's guilty of anything, it will probably be a plea deal down to a disorderly conduct, and he will do some community service and probably pay a fine. Now, if he's got a long criminal history, it could be different, but probably he's not going to get charged. Because again, I challenge you in this statement to find a particularized crime that he is threatening. Interestingly, the only one I've got is a threat of arson. We're going to burn it down. We're going to burn it down. Now, let's see. Take a look. Minnesota statute. Threats. Threat of violence. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a statute. Threaten violence with the intent to terrorize. Whoever threatens directly or indirectly to commit any crime of violence with purpose to terrorize another or to cause evacuation of a building, place of assembly, vehicle or facility of public transportation, or otherwise to cause serious public inconvenience. Now, notice the drafting of this statute and the drafting of pretty much all of these statutes as you go to different states. They're similar. The intent of these statutes is to punish people who are threatening buildings and gatherings because they're disruptive. Bomb threats, mass shooter threats, stuff like that. That's what people are, that's the activity they're intending to defray. Like, I'm going to come over there and kick you in your testicles and make you spit them out or whatever. That's not really the idea that started these laws. It's what we do with them, but that's not the start. So, or in a reckless disregard of the risk of causing such terror or inconvenience, may be sentenced to imprisonment for not more than 5 years, or the payment of a fine of not more than $10,000. Crime of violence has the meaning given violent crime in section 609.105 subdivision 1 paragraph D. Let's take a look at that real quick. This will be interesting. Violation of or any attempt or conspiracy to violate any of the following laws. So this is a list of laws. We're not going to go through all of them, but we're going to talk about murder, manslaughter, assault. Those types of things are in here. Probably arson, sexual assault, those sorts of things. So again, going back to his statement, which is not here. We can get rid of that. Not there. We can get rid of that. Where did it go? Am I on it? No, here it is. Back to his statement. I don't see where he threatens a particular violent act. He actually doesn't, he doesn't say we're going to kill you. Anywhere. Does he? Does anybody see? Does anybody see in this statement where he says he's going to kill the governor or hurt him or harm him? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Abuse of a corpse. Yeah. I don't think that's one of the crimes. I guess it could be desecration or improper handling of a corpse. I don't think it's listed there. I'm not going to click through all of them. That's really annoying. But maybe it is. Whoever communicates to another with purpose to terrorize another in reckless disregard of the risk of causing such terror that explosives or an explosive device or any incendiary device is present at a name, place, or location, whether or not the same is in fact present. So that's the bomb threat. And we got display of replica firearm. But here, I think this guy walks, or he should. He'll probably, if he gets a public defender, he might not. Maybe arson. I don't think so. That's the closest I can get. That's the closest I can get, is that we're going to burn it down. But it's thin. Very thin. Represent him? No. I don't think that guy can pay. And I've done a case in Ramsey County, and I don't like going into Ramsey County. What a mess that is. No, thank you. Yeah, it's a temporary account. You got it, right? He threatened to burn a building with a dead guy in it, so not a threat of violence. Unless arson's in here. Now, I don't know. I don't memorize statutes. What's this one? Shooting in a public transit. We've got adulteration. Intentional adding of a substance. Oh, so poisoning. Threatening to poison someone is illegal, apparently. Drive-by shootings. I said I wasn't going to do this. Burglary. Arson in the second degree. Okay, so arson's on there. Unlawfully by means of fire, explosives, intentionally destroys. If they get this man for threatening arson, I would laugh. Like that would be peak. That would be peak garbage. Yeah. That would be the top right there, because that's all I can see in there is the arson threat. And that may be what they're going for, but really what they're going for on a threat of violence in Minnesota is they're going for a scary felony to force a plea down to a misdemeanor disorderly conduct. Jesus. Oh man, I got to get back to Minnesota. So what they do with this is they threaten a felony conviction, and this is legal advice. Not really. You know what I mean? If you're in Minnesota and you're charged with threats of violence, they want you to plead down to a disorderly conduct. That's what they want you to do. That's what they're gonna offer you. And they charge you with, and this is actually a disgusting thing, and a lot of defense attorneys in Minnesota don't like it, because that's the goal. It's to threaten you with a 5-year prison term to extract a $200 to $500 fine out of you. But that's what they're going for. So That's what we'll see. Reckless disregard for the risk. Specifically citing this. Reckless disregard of the risk of causing such terror or inconvenience. Yeah. There you go. And yeah, the cases that I've worked on with these, that's what they charge as well, by the way. That reckless disregard. You know why? Because usually outside of domestic issues, where you have like severe abuse, like a Ron Toye thing, right? That's the interesting thing. Ron Toye threatening to chop up his wife's dog, that would have been a felony threat of violence intended to convey fear. That's like nails it. That actually nails it. If he did in fact leave that voicemail saying that he was going to threaten to kill her dog and chop it up, whatever, that's actually qualifies. But so anyway, this is just a funny story, mainly because I wanted to read something where someone called Governor Walz a fuckface, because that guy's a fuckface. And screw him. What an idiot. That's all I got on that story. Let's get to the real meat of this. We've got Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse is the real meat of the story today. And I want to pull something up. I want to have it ready real quick. Give me a moment. 948.60 in Wisconsin. I want to pull up Wisconsin. Where are you? There you are. 948.60. Here we go. This is the possession of a dangerous weapon. So I am looking at this raw, blind, or whatever, with you guys. So we're looking at this together. This is our this is a virgin look. Oh yeah, I'll check Twitter in a second on Walz Wolvenar. Sorry, I meant to. So this is the same statute we looked at before, and in particular, we're looking at 3C, and I want to see if there's notes here. Notes of decisions. Let's see. God, they got nothing here at all. Violation of the section governing possession of a minor, pistol by a minor is not negligence per se. Was in charge of possession of pistol by minor was properly refused in prosecution for attempted first-degree murder since it was not an included offense. That's nothing. Let's see. Where there was an evidence that a .22 caliber Stevens rifle was used for hunting and killing game. Is not within the statute prohibiting the toy pistol, toy revolver, or toy firearm. That's an old one. That's 1903. That doesn't even matter. Air gun was not a pistol or revolver. Air pistol. So yeah, there's no case law on this. Let's see. Possession of a pistol by a minor. Yeah. Okay, so there's no case law on this, so let's just go back to the plain text. I was hoping there'd be some... There's editor's notes, comments from 1987. Let's see. Bill prohibits a child to go armed with or a person to furnish a child with any firearm having a barrel less than 12 inches long, the definition of pistol, any electric weapon as defined, metallic knuckles, or certain martial arts weapon described in the bill. So again, even in the comments of 1987, when this was revised, I want to point this out. It's any firearm having a barrel of less than 12 inches long, the definition of a pistol in the current section of 941.22. This is the key, because he's charged with this. He's actually charged with this, with a violation of 948.60, as I'll show you on the Rittenhouse documents. We're going to go through all of it in just a second, but possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18, they've got 948.62A is what they cite. So any person under 18 years of age who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. But again, this section applies only to a person under 18 years of age who possesses or is armed with a rifle or shotgun. Note, if the person is in violation of section 941.28, that's the short-barreled rifle, or is not in compliance with these two sections, and that's in relation to hunting permits. This section applies only to an adult who transfers a firearm to a person under 18 years of age if the person under 18 years of age is not in compliance with these or in violation of this. So we went through this yesterday. We already went through this. I know we did. And I want to point out that under the law, he is not guilty straight out of the gate of this count. And they should immediately, you want to get this dismissed. I mean, they want to get all of it dismissed because it's ridiculous, but this one for sure. Like, clearly under the law. Oh, and this 939.513A, Wisconsin statutes, that's just the penalty category for a Class A misdemeanor. So I just want to point out that it is not, he's not in violation of some other gun law here. This is Class A misdemeanors penalty statute. That's all it is. So there's nothing missing from the analysis. Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry, thought it was pulled up. Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry, here's the count 6 possession of a dangerous weapon that I'm talking about. Here's what he's accused of. Here's what he's accused of violating. Here is the statute 2A that he's accused of violating. Any person under 18 years of age who possesses or goes armed with a dangerous weapon is guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. And then, yeah. But this section does not apply to these things, which those don't matter. But this section only applies, like I said, armed with a rifle or a shotgun if the person's in violation of this. This is to prevent kids from having pistols. Pistols and handguns. That's what they're wanting to prevent. One of these days you'll mirror the layout and stop being a boomer for your mobile audience. What? Mirror the layout? Why do you want the layout on the left? There's a reason it's on the right. What's the reason to have it on the left? I don't understand. Frosthammer, I'll tell you how I do it. I go, Your Honor, this isn't illegal. It's in the text of the statute. It's not illegal. So anyway. Chat is over the left side of the screen on mobile landscape mode. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's an interesting point. That's annoying. That's real annoying. I didn't even think about that. The reason that the documents are on the left side of the screen is because people read left to right. And so that's why I put the documents over there. But the chat's a good, that's a good indicator. I didn't think about that. Anyway, this is how it is for now. If you think I'm able to change anything, whew, you haven't been watching. Okay, let me read a couple more chats, and then I got to go back to the Wolvenar Twitter stuff. Maybe let me take a look at it, and then we'll do the full breakdown, the full hour. Okay. Okay, you sent me a whole bunch of stuff. That's a bunch. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This isn't going to show up very well. So they've got a rally going on. Government. Let's see. I guess here's the Governor Walz sign. Is that a threat of violence, though? I don't know, because I don't know if he got himself into that problem or not. I think that may be his own making. That may be his own thing that he did. I don't know if someone threatened to come in there and shove his face up his anus. I kind of want that to have happened, though. That'd be funny, too. So we've got that one, and there was one more here. Let's see. This one's kind of funny. I don't know if this doesn't count as a threat of violence in my book. Here. Let's see. We've got the pro-Constitution rally protest. We've got pro-Trump, keep America great, Second Amendment, anti-dictator Walz, socialism, shutdown, defunding police, and supporting terrorism. Support and thank your, this sheriff, very scary. But we've got dictator Walz in a car with a monster truck crushing it. That's good. That's good, I guess. Paul Utke, Steve Green, and Matt Grossel. Who's Everett Jasmer? Who are these people? I don't know who any of these people are. But I don't pay attention either. Also, camping, food, and music Friday and Saturday. Just contact Kenny. That's fine. But, yeah. No, this isn't a threat of violence either. I want to point that out. That's not a threat of violence. That's a good threat. And all politicians should receive some sort of razzing. And by razzing, I mean threats. I'm not advocating the threatening of politicians. It's mostly a joke. Mostly a joke. Okay, so here is the charging document for Kyle Rittenhouse. And we're going to take a look at this. The first couple pages are just these counts. And so we'll take a look at them. And then it goes into the probable cause statement. That is the interesting thing, is the probable cause statement. Yeah, I know, Wolvenar. I know. The interesting thing is that probable cause statement, that's going to be the police officer's narrative on why Kyle should be arrested. AGK says, please help. I can't stop myself from calling Levin and Perconti every day for no readily apparent reason. But seriously, hope you and yours are doing well. Levin and Perconti? Okay. Hope you and yours are doing well. Thanks for the laughs and sometimes the seething rage. Oh, yeah, my pleasure, buddy. Bad Vibe says, okay, this case is a great example of unnecessary police interaction. Abuse of authority starts at the legislation and ends in the court. This should fall to a warrant type reviewed first. I assume you're talking about the Governor Walz thing. Yeah, they just want to scare him. Governor Walz wanted to scare him. Oh, Levin and Picanti are an ad that shows up on my streams? Oh, great. Good job. You should get those guys on the show. Yeah, Red Mage. 3C is the part that excludes him. Let's talk about these. Okay, so we've got first degree reckless homicide, use of a dangerous weapon. So the above named defendant did recklessly cause the death of Joseph D. Rosenbaum under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life. I mean, so they didn't charge him with an intentional shooting of the guy? Like, was he just shooting randomly and he just decided to hit the pedophile? Like, is like just, oh my God, there was a pedophile there. Like, is that what happened? Is this what happened? I don't know about that. So because the defendant committed this offense while using a dangerous weapon, the maximum term of imprisonment for the felony may be increased by not more than 5 years. I don't know if he did use a dangerous weapon. So dangerous weapon is defined here. Electric weapon. So this is just for the electric weapons. Wait. Yeah, possession of electric weapons. So is that it? So, okay, so that's just one thing. So electric weapon, that means any firearm loaded or unloaded, any electric. Okay, so it does count. Yes. It does count as a dangerous weapon. Any firearm is a dangerous weapon. Got it. Okay, just making sure because of this later section. But if this section applied, it would be a dangerous weapon. In this case, it is a dangerous weapon for this purpose. Got it. First degree recklessly endangering safety, use of a dangerous weapon. So the above named defendant did recklessly endanger the safety of Richard McGinnis under the circumstances which show utter disregard for human life, contrary to section 941.30. This is, if I'm not mistaken, 941.30. Wait, I'm going to just do it this way. Table of contents. Why is this small? 941.30. Let's see what recklessly endangering safety elements are. So we have him as first degree. Whoever recklessly endangers another's safety under circumstances which show utter... Oh, very helpful. It doesn't really say anything. So we'll see this in the narrative. McGinnis is the guy with the camera. McGinnis is the guy with the phone camera who is trying to film this thing. And I believe he believed he was shot. He believed he was shot. So anyway, we'll talk about that as we get to it. Let's see. Count 3, first degree intentional homicide. That he did cause the death of Anthony Huber with intent to kill that person. I mean, 940.01. God, let's take a look at that. We want this off. Wisconsin. 940.01. Just a second. Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. Hey, what's up? We don't want statutes. We want, let's see. Statutes. Westlaw is so fast, guys. You've never seen Westlaw this fast. First degree intentional homicide. Let's see. So we've got in the thing, we've got 940.01 1A. So 1A, except as provided in subdivision 2, whoever causes the death of another human being with the intent to kill that person or another is guilty of a Class A felony. You know what's crazy? I don't understand why they charged reckless homicide here and intentional homicide here. Because he tags Huber while the guy's hitting him. The other guy, I mean, I would have, based on what I've seen, I'd reverse the charge. I'd flip those. Because it looked more like he intentionally shot Rosenbaum. I don't think he did. I'm just saying if I'm comparing them. And more like he reactively shot Huber while he was getting hit. So that's kind of weird. Attempted first-degree intentional homicide of Gage P. Grosskreutz. This is the guy whose bicep was, he got a bicepectomy. Here. That he attempted to cause his death with intent to kill that person. I mean, yes, again, the defense of this is going to be the self-defense, the same self-defense claim. I think, firing a firearm at someone is always considered deadly force, even though he shot him in the arm. I mean, if he tries to make the argument that I shot him in the arm, that's not going to change anything. Still going to be deadly force being directed towards him. So it's still with intent to kill. But of course, he's got a great self-defense case on this guy. So first degree recklessly endangering safety of an unknown male under circumstances which show utter disregard for human life. This is the guy who kicked him in the face that he shot at and missed. The only miss that we have on camera from him confirmed is this one. The guy comes up and kicks him. That's the first guy. And he shoots and misses, but then he shoots Huber next. So that's, good job. Good job shooting. Probably be better for him if he had actually killed this guy, in all honesty. Because then that guy's going to get to testify now if they can ever identify him. Of course, he may not want to be identified for very important reasons. Possession of a dangerous weapon by a person under 18. You guys already know my opinion on this. There is no way this charge should stick. There is no way. The plain language of the law says that he had a right to have that gun. That he was in lawful possession of that gun. Outside of some other circumstance, he was in lawful possession. Again, as we can see here, 3C, the section only applies to a person under 18 who possesses or is armed with a rifle or shotgun if the person is in violation of this, which is short-barreled rifle and short-barreled shotgun, or is not in compliance with these sections. So that's that. Let's read the narrative, though, and then we're going to read the Slate article, and then bloods will boil, I think. So your complainant spoke with Sergeant Melikar, Detective Howard, Detective Sepris, and Detective Antaramian of the Kenosha Police Department, who provided the following information. On August 25th, an 8 o'clock p.m. curfew had been imposed east of I-94 in Kenosha County due to civil unrest. On August 25th at approximately 11:45 p.m., a shooting occurred at Car Source, which is located at the northwest corner of 63rd Street and Sheridan Road in the city and county of Kenosha, state of Wisconsin. The man who was shot at this location was identified as Joseph Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum was transported to a local hospital where a doctor declared him to be deceased on August 26, 2020 at 12:47 a.m. And you'll notice similarities. There were people who were confused about George Floyd being pronounced dead later than at the scene. They're always pronounced dead by a doctor. Who knows when he actually ceased living, But this is when a doctor examined him and decided, oh yeah, you're actually dead. In the course of investigating this incident, law enforcement reviewed and shared with your complainant multiple videos that appeared to be recorded on cell phones. In the first video, a male who was later identified to be Kyle H. Rittenhouse, date of birth January 3rd of 2003, is running southwest across the eastern portion of the CarSource parking lot. The defendant is a resident of Antioch, Illinois. The defendant can clearly be seen holding a long gun, which was later recovered by law enforcement and identified as a Smith & Wesson AR-15 style .223 rifle. The recovered magazine for this rifle holds 30 rounds of ammunition. Following the defendant is Rosenbaum, and trailing behind the defendant and Rosenbaum is a male who was later identified as Richard McGinnis, a reporter. The video shows that a reporter. I'm gonna throw that out there. I believe that this guy is a reporter to the extent that I believe that my anus is a reporter. The video shows that as they cross the parking lot, Rosenbaum appears to throw an object at the defendant. The object does not hit the defendant, and a second video shows, based on where this object landed, that it was a plastic bag. This does not look to be true, in my opinion. We saw what he threw. We saw what he threw. And it did not look like a plastic bag, and it did not move like a plastic bag unless it was full of something. It was a plastic bag? What was in it, though? There's something in that plastic bag. Okay, back to this. Let's see. Rosenbaum appears to be unarmed for the duration of this video. A review of the second video shows that the defendant and Rosenbaum continue to move across the parking lot and approach the front of a black car parked in the lot. A loud bang is heard on the video when a male shouts, "Fuck you." Then Rosenbaum appears to continue to approach the defendant and gets in near proximity to the defendant when 4 more loud bangs are heard. Rosenbaum then falls to the ground. And I think that first bang is not from Kyle. It's not from Kyle. McGinnis is a producer for the Daily Caller. Well, we'll, I'm going to call him a bitch. How about that? Based on this, you'll see why I call him a bitch in just a little bit. So yeah, if I understand right, that first loud bang actually comes from a distance away from them, is not Kyle. But anyway, 4 more loud bangs are heard. Rosenbaum then falls to the ground. The defendant then circles behind the black car and approaches Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum remains on the ground. McGinnis also approaches, removes his shirt, and attempts to render aid to Rosenbaum. The defendant appears... Okay, so he's the guy that's by there. Got it. Defendant appears to get on his cell phone and place a call. Another male approaches, and the defendant turns and begins to run away from the scene. As the defendant is running away, he can be heard saying on the phone, "I just killed somebody." So here we go with that. Detective Sepris interviewed McGinnis and indicates the following. Before the shooting, McGinnis was interviewing the defendant. The defendant told McGinnis that he was a trained medic. McGinnis stated that he has handled many ARs and that the defendant was not handling the weapon very well. Now, I don't know about you guys, and obviously I can't judge what McGinnis saw, but every time I saw him handling the weapon, he seemed to be handling it just fine. See? When I called him a bitch. Let's see. McGinnis said that as they were walking south, another armed male who appeared to be in his 30s joined them and said he was there to protect the defendant. McGinnis stated that before the defendant reached the parking lot and ran across it, the defendant had moved from the middle of Sheridan Road to the sidewalk And that is when McGinnis saw a male initially try to engage the defendant. Boom. We've got something interesting in this probable cause statement. Rosenbaum initially tries to engage the defendant. McGinnis stated that as the defendant was walking, Rosenbaum was trying to get closer to the defendant. When Rosenbaum advanced, the defendant did a juke move and started running. McGinnis stated that there were other people that were moving very quickly. McGinnis stated they were moving towards the defendant. This all plays out for the favor of the defendant. McGinnis said that according to what he saw, the defendant was trying to evade these individuals. McGinnis described the point where the defendant had reached the car. McGinnis described that the defendant had the gun in a low ready position, meaning that he had the gun raised but pointed downward. The butt of the gun would have been at an angle downwards from the shoulder. McGinnis stated that the defendant brought the gun up. McGinnis stated that he stepped back and he thinks the defendant fired 3 rounds in rapid succession. McGinnis said when the first round went off, he thought it hit the pavement. McGinnis felt something on his leg and his first thought was wondering whether he had gotten shot. He probably, if it hit the pavement, he probably got a chunk of pavement to hit his leg or something. McGinnis was behind and slightly to the right of Rosenbaum in the line of fire when the defendant shot. Wait, okay, so he's behind and slightly to the right of Rosenbaum. So McGinnis stated that the first round went into the ground, and when the second shot went off, the defendant actually had the gun aimed at Rosenbaum. McGinnis stated he did not hear the two exchange any words. McGinnis said that the unarmed guy, Rosenbaum, listen to this, was trying to get the defendant's gun. Close the fucking case. Close the fucking case. McGinnis demonstrated by extending both of his hands in a quick grabbing motion and did that as a visual on how Rosenbaum tried to reach for the defendant's gun. Detective Sepris indicates that he asked McGinnis if Rosenbaum had his hands on the gun when the defendant shot. McGinnis said that he definitely made a motion that he was trying to grab the barrel of the gun. McGinnis stated that the defendant pulled it away and then raised it. McGinnis stated that right as they came together, the defendant fired. McGinnis stated that when Rosenbaum was shot, he had leaned in toward the defendant. I mean, they're going to have some competing testimony on that. This shouldn't even be charged. McGinnis stated that after the defendant shot, he ran back towards the hospital, toward the middle of the road. McGinnis stayed and turned his attention to Rosenbaum. McGinnis stated that he then heard the shots really soon after. The third video. So that's the end of McGinnis's testimony. I'm calling McGinnis a bitch because he said he wasn't handling it very well, but his testimony does actually completely support Kyle. That's good. The third video that your complainant reviewed shows the defendant running northbound on Sheridan Road after he had shot Rosenbaum. The street and the sidewalk are full of people. A group of several people begin running northbound on Sheridan Road behind the defendant. A person can be heard yelling what sounds like "beat him up." Again, another person can be held yelling what sounds like, "Hey, he shot him." Your complainant reviewed a fourth video that showed a different angle of the defendant running northbound. In this video, a person can be heard yelling, "Get him, get that dude." Then a male in a light-colored top runs toward the defendant and appears to swing at the defendant with his right arm. The swing makes contact with the defendant, knocking his hat off. The defendant continues to run northbound. On the video, a male can be heard saying something to the effect of "What'd he do?" Another male can be heard responding something to the effect of "Just shot someone." Then a male can be heard yelling, "Get his ass." The defendant then trips and falls to the ground. As the defendant is on the ground, an unidentified male wearing a dark-colored top and light-colored pants jumps at and over the defendant. You lying sack of shit. He kicks him in the head, you fucking liar. Oh, that's bullshit right there. Okay. Based on the sounds of gunshots on the video and the positioning of the defendant's gun, it appears that he fires 2 shots in quick succession at this person. It appears that that person was not hit as he then runs away from the defendant. A second person who was later identified as Anthony Huber approaches the defendant, who is still on the ground on his back. Huber has a skateboard in his right hand. When Huber reaches the defendant, it appears that he is reaching for the defendant's gun with his left hand as the skateboard makes contact with the defendant's left shoulder. Huber appears to be trying to pull the gun away from the defendant. Why did you even write this? The defendant rolls towards his left side as Huber appears to be trying to grab the gun. The gun is pointed at Huber's body. The defendant then fires 1 round, which can be heard on the video. Huber staggers away, taking several steps, then collapses to the ground. He subsequently died from this gunshot wound. After shooting Huber, the defendant moves to a seated position and points his gun at a third male, later identified as Gage Grosskreutz, who had begun to approach the defendant. When the defendant shot Huber, Grosskreutz freezes and ducks and takes a step back. Grosskreutz puts his hand in the air. Grosskreutz then moves towards the defendant, who aims his gun at Grosskreutz and shoots him, firing 1 shot. Grosskreutz was shot in the right arm. Grosskreutz appears to be holding a handgun in his right hand when he was shot. Grosskreutz then runs southbound away from the defendant, screaming for a medic, and the defendant gets up and starts walking northbound. The defendant turns around facing southbound while walking backwards northbound with his firearm in a ready position, pointed toward the people in the roadway. Did he actually do that? I don't remember that. Dr. Kelly of the Milwaukee Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy on Joseph Rosenbaum. Indicated that Rosenbaum had a gunshot wound to the right groin, which fractured his pelvis. A gunshot wound to the back. Well, I mean, I guess that's just desserts for the pedophile. A gunshot wound to the back, which perforated his right lung and liver. A gunshot wound to the left hand. A superficial gunshot wound to his lateral left thigh. And a grazed gunshot wound to the right side of his forehead. So wait, 5 bullets? He hit him 5 times? Let's see. A gunshot wound to the back? How did he shoot him in the back? That'll be interesting. First guy saw Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum. I mean, I'm just curious how that happened. I've watched that video. I don't see how it hits him in the back. Let me see if I've got it handy. What? Where's the Kiwi Farms page? Okay. Apparently the video is no longer up on Kiwi Farms. Lord Project says the shot to the back must have been a magic bullet. We need Alex Jones to explain this. That's very confusing. If I had a quick link to it, if anybody can tweet me a quick link to that thing, to that video, we'll take a peek at it, but let's see. All right. No, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you from This Site is Trash. All right. We'll have to I don't want the thing on the left side. Thank you. God. I hate all internet everything. Bullet can ricochet from the pelvis shot and exit the back. Can also hit the hand before it hit the hand. Yeah, no, I know about that it can ricochet or that his hand could be in front of something. It just, the way, you know, the medical examiner says it's a shot to the back, which would imply not that it was an exit wound in the back, but an entry wound. Claims a Gage fired at Kyle when Rosenbaum was killed. He might have hit him. That's possible, too. Okay, let me, I'll get the old headphones on. Here we go. Turn on the volume. Okay. Here we go. So that's the object that was thrown.
Oh, we got a gun, baby. Oh, they shoot you. Oh.
I heard four shots. Let's hear it from this angle. Well, I gotta turn my headphones up.
They shoot you. Oh.
So there were 3 other shots fired. That's interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed that. So McInnes said that he believed that Kyle shot 3 times. No, there's 1, 4 shots, and then 3 shots after. So whose 3 shots were those?
Oh, we got a gun, baby. Oh, they shoot you. Oh.
That's a different gun. That's a different gun on that third. Or the 3 other shots. It's coming from a different place. The sound is completely different. Yeah. Very interesting. Man, I can't see the actual shooting well enough. He goes down immediately. Yeah. I wonder what those 3 rounds are. That's where they came from. Let's watch the guy jump over his head. Yeah, we'll do that and get there. Oh, that's interesting. There's the hit. So the rider threw the skateboard at him there. So he's been hit by the skateboard, and then he goes and picks it up. Right here. That's Hubert. That shot's just magnificent. That arm shot. Yeah, someone else is shooting off in the distance. Who knows where they're shooting, what they're doing. Tell Nick to watch Antifa Watch 2's video on Twitter. There's another gunman. I believe you. I believe you. Let's see. What do we got? Okay. We'll go back to this. Gunshot wound to the right groin, which fractured his pelvis. Gunshot wound to the back, which perforated his right lung and liver. Gunshot wound to the left hand. A superficial gunshot wound to his lateral left thigh. And a grazed gunshot wound to the right side of his forehead. So I wonder if the right groin, left thigh, right lung and liver. I wonder if that left thigh gunshot wound is actually the first bullet to his groin. That's what I'm wondering. Because, like, if my brain is picturing if someone's running forward, right? Lateral left thigh. Is that outside left thigh, though? Because middle would be medial, right? Man, I just don't know. I just don't know. Perforated lung and liver, that's a downward shot at a severe angle. Sauce, you just tweeted the video. Just a second. Oh, yeah. This is this one again. Just on replay watching that shot. But we knew about that shot. Yeah, he's definitely got a handgun. That was stupid. The heroes of Kavach. Or whatever. God damn it. This shit pisses me off. Okay, anyway. Let's see. Also conducted an autopsy on Anthony Huber. Huber had a gunshot wound to his chest that perforated his heart, aorta, pulmonary artery, and right lung. Yeah, you're done. I mean, that's like one of the quickest kills you can do. Detective Antaramian spoke with Dominic Black on August 26. Dominic stated that he received a phone call from his friend Kyle Rittenhouse, the defendant, at 11:46, in which the defendant stated that he had shot someone. Detective Antaramian saw the defendant in person at the police department and identified the defendant as a shooter in the various videos. Your complainant is an attorney with Kenosha County District Attorney's Office who bases her knowledge of this complaint on statements and official records. So there you go. That's signed by Angelina Gabrielle. Or wait, no. And that's the deputy district attorney. Is the complainant. Okay. Let's take a peek at the video again. Get rid of this. Where'd that go? This one? I want to see him running away from the people and see if he aims his gun at them again.
Oh shit, he shot that guy in the stomach. Oh shit, shit, people are getting shot all around us. People are just getting shot everywhere, guys.
They need to find out who's shooting the other guns. Who are they shooting at? You need a medic. You're in the street, homie.
Take this, man. I got it.
Wait a minute, did you see this? Watch the... Look at this. Do you guys see? Looks like somebody's got... Maybe I'm wrong. These look like green dot sights all over the place. Laser sights. Everywhere. Watch the tree as it pans over. You can see one right here on the street, and there's one right here as well. I mean, unless someone's just shooting laser for whatever. Using green lasers to blind people? What fucking dicks. Snitches get stitches, baby. Okay, I want to see... I don't see him actually raise the gun. So someone sent me another video. I want to look at it real quick. Hold on. Oh, here's the first shooting again. It's from Chungus, though. We'll look at this video again real quick.
That's Antifa, man. Oh, you got a gun, baby. Oh, they shooting. Oh,
okay. That actually, I think I know exactly how he got shot in the back. That first shot drops him immediately, and he follows up. You can see the first shot in the pelvis drops him, and I think that second shot happens and probably hits him in the back as he falls forward. So watch real close over here.
Oh, they shooting. Oh, he shot him.
Yeah.
Get back. Shot him, man.
Yeah, he nailed that guy as he was dropping. So that explains the back. That makes more sense. Let's see. ISJ 322 says, of those shot, they make up 2% of the population. 0.02 times 0.02 times 0.02 is a 0.0008% chance. Big think on what's going on here. Some real crazy coincidences I'm noticing here. And here I thought they were the victims. I was wrong. Oh, you're talking about like their criminal records and stuff like that, I'm guessing. Yeah, I know, Volan. I know. We're going to go through the... I've got the New York Times article here that I'll bring over that tracks the timeline. They have the handgun muzzle flash back here on this one. The New York Times did this. New York Times paid a bunch of people to do what we're doing right now, by the way. So here's the handgun muzzle flash from that first shot. He's still here. Rittenhouse is here. Let's see. An unknown gunman fires into the air. Though it's unclear why. Do we know he's firing into the air there? I don't know if that's a determination they can make from this. I'm curious how they determine he's firing into the air rather than firing somewhere else. I mean, we know he's firing. That's about it. Weapon's muzzle flash appears in footage filmed at the scene. Turns towards the sound of the gunfire as another pursuer lunges toward him from the same direction. Rittenhouse then fires 4 times and appears to shoot the man in the head. Good analysis, B. He barely shoots him in the head. He shoots him in the pelvis, right in the dick. There's live video of him firing into the air. Okay, so they must have pulled it from another one, I guess. He's firing high, but toward Kyle. Don't know if it was into the air. Bad aim. Okay. Well, let's get back to this. Oh, we were done with this thing. Oh, we were. Yeah, I was looking for the video to see him run away. I think this is the one. Is a stabilized video the one I've already seen? Oh, this is too much work. Where is that? Let's see. Let's see if this one has it. One second. Okay, so he's walking away. Oh, he does. It looked like he pointed for just a second as he turned. He raises his gun as he turns because there's gunfire. That's why he raises his gun. But he immediately puts it down and keeps walking. Okay. So yeah, okay, so that's where they got that little narrative. Chilling Tales, I don't think he discharged his weapon any further after the shots from the ground. I think that's entirely someone else. That's woo. I mean, if you're gonna have a charging document written about you for homicides, this is the one you want. Not really. You want one that says he didn't do it, obviously, but this is about as close to just providing the justification from the outset. I think we're going to see very quickly motions to dismiss this case because there's no way he should be, just based on their own statements, he shouldn't be in trouble at all. Okay, let's get rid of Chungus. Oh yeah, let's do this infuriating Slate article. Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. I don't know that the dismissal will be quick. I think they'll file for a dismissal very quickly based on a lack of probable cause. Because the statements that they have, their probable cause statement lists the defenses that he'll raise. Like that's the evidence that the state is bringing, is that everyone was reaching for his gun. So I think they'll file for dismissal. As for whether he'll get the dismissal quickly or not, probably not quickly. There'll be a motion hearing on it. It'll take a lot of briefing, but I mean that's one of the grounds for dismissal is a lack of probable cause to bring the charges in the first place. I would assume they're going to want to do this as fast as possible. So if they don't waive his right to a speedy trial, he should have this thing resolved in 60 days-ish. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if they'll try and waive his right to a speedy trial or not. I think there's enough evidence to not do it myself, but you know, it's up to Lynn Wood and team and Pierce. I wouldn't say he'll almost certainly walk. I'll say he should walk. Criminal law is a sticky thing, and especially when people die. That's why, you know, it sucks. It sucks to see him charged. It especially, like yesterday, I was saying he probably should be charged. And that I think he should win, but you know, you got dead people. However, let me clarify that when I made that statement, this document wasn't public yet. And to see that this is the document that they used to charge him, I don't think he should have been charged. I don't think he should have been charged based on this document. So I thought we would get a much different narrative from the prosecutor. So, because you'd have to have a different narrative than what they've got in here, because this narrative is entirely that he's acting in self-defense. The only crime that they could maybe, that might not be self-defense, would be the reckless endangering safety, I guess, of Richard McGinnis. But even that, Richard McGinnis is standing right by the guy he shoots who's attacking him. So how do you call that a reckless endangering of safety with disregard for human life? I mean, he's clearly shooting in self-defense at the guy Rosenbaum who's lunging for his gun. So I change officially my position. When I said that I thought that the charges were reasonable, it was based on the understanding that we would have a much more slanted probable cause statement that left out any indication of self-defense, that basically said, or that indicated that he instigated the contact with Rosenbaum. That's the other thing. According to this document, Rosenbaum instigates the contact between the defendant and Rosenbaum. So we don't even have the defendant being accused of instigating the initial content, which is crazy. It's crazy because that's how you overcome the self-defense thing, is he started it and intended to kill Rosenbaum prior to Rosenbaum attacking him. And that the self-defense is now just merely an excuse to overcome the murder charge that he was trying to do in the first place. That's how you would word that. The other thing I thought they might try, and if you guys remember on my show, I had a guy named Perseus. He's an employment lawyer. Everybody called him a commie, and he might be a commie. I'm going to have him back on the show at some point in the near future here because he's interesting. He did a video on this as well. I haven't watched it yet, but talking about the potential for a social media angle similar to what happened to, what's his face? The guy out in Charlottesville who drove his car into the crowd at the Unite the Right rally. I'm blanking on his name. I just said it earlier today. Someone's going to tell me in just a second, but James Fields, thank you. Remember, the part of the reasons they tagged Fields was his social media and text message history. Like he had which I think was improperly entered into evidence. He had a text of a picture of Hitler between him and his mom. Now, I don't understand how a text of Hitler translates to intent to kill a fat white woman. I'm not sure, but That's how they got Fields. So I was thinking in the charging document as well, we were going to hear some history of social media posts that they would include that wouldn't even necessarily be overtly bad, but might indicate, hey, some of you guys are cool. Don't go to Kenosha tomorrow, right? Like something like that, that they could tag to demonstrate his intent to kill prior to the event. That's one of the things that would, again, make sense in a charging document in this case. And they didn't do any of it. They didn't do any of that. Instead, they wrote this narrative about how he didn't initiate contact. Someone grabbed his gun, or was grabbing for the gun. He defended himself after running away and attempting to evade. And then after defending himself the first time, is chased by a mob in which people attack him, and he shoots at only the people who are actively attacking him, and all of his attackers are making contact with him, or the last one pulls a gun. Like, why are we charging this guy? This is crazy. This is crazy. So, I just wanted to say I've changed my position on thinking that the charges are reasonable, and I'm happy to own that. I made assumptions about what information was gonna, not really what information was gonna come out, but more what was gonna be left out, because I have a negative view of prosecutors. So I thought they would skew it to make it look really bad, but they really didn't do that. They skewed it to kind of make it look better. You think he's being charged so the DA can close the case? It happens. I mean, maybe the DA should charge it and then dismiss the case. Then, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so this is Slate.com, and I only included this because it's rage-inducing. The conservative defense of Kyle Rittenhouse is dangerous nonsense. White Americans' most heinous act of violence can always be justified by their ideological allies. By Mark Joseph Stern. Wonder what we can learn about Mark Joseph Stern. Does he have a CV somewhere? He covers courts and the law for Slate. Let me see if I can. We got to find this guy, right? Mark Joseph Stern, Slate. Images. Okay. Well, go away. Oh, this website is trash. Hold on. I'm trying to find a good picture of him. This does not exist. Oh, here we go. You guys will get a kick out of this, I think. Here he is. Mark Joseph Stern. This is him. Make what you will of the headlines. I am not going to say anything. Oh, come on. A gay Jew in Trump's America. Okay. So that's who's writing this. Let's see what we've got. Oh. I need a little bit more blade and bow. Just found out Kyle is Hispanic. Yeah, his arrest apparently lists him, or his booking statement lists him as Hispanic. So, like Zimmerman, right? Like a Hispanic white supremacist. On Tuesday night, 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse allegedly shot 3 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin with an AR-15 style rifle, killing 2. Videos of the event tell us an incomplete story of what exactly happened that night, but they appear to clearly show this much. Listen to this already, it's pissing me off. Rittenhouse traveled to the protest in illegal possession of an assault weapon to act as a vigilante. That's actually not what the videos show at all. That's not clear. In fact, as stated on the possession of the assault weapon, which is just a semi-automatic rifle, yeah, he looks to be in lawful possession of that. And I guess it depends on how you define vigilante. Vigilante is a negative connotated term, but well, let's just see what the definition of vigilante is specifically. So, vigilante. Whoops. Oh, God. Can I just... I hate this. I'm getting so tired of this computer setup. A member of a self-appointed group of citizens who undertake law enforcement in their community without legal authority, typically because the legal agencies are thought to be inadequate. That's interesting. I don't think he undertook law enforcement in the community. Certainly not his community. He came from a different state. But he's not taking on a law enforcement role at all. And there's no legal authority that he assumes. So this is entirely incorrect. He placed himself at the center of the violence. Wait. How do you place yourself at the center of violence? Like, what violence, right? This is all peaceful, I thought. Like the CNN ticker that said it was like the peacefully burning fire behind him. How do you place yourself at the center of violence? And again, if you're admitting that violence is going on, okay, now he's justified, right? Then escalated it by shooting a man in the head. And again, we find out that this is actually not the correct thing. And you have to, well, I shouldn't say you have to wonder if they could have saved him if they'd administered care to the right places. If the man was shot and had a perforated lung and heart, or perforated lung and liver, he was going to die. Liver or kidney, whatever it was. That guy was going to bleed out if an ambulance wasn't there immediately. But they were tending, they had the shirt wrapped around his head. They're tending the head wound most vigorously, probably because they thought the bullet went in there. But apparently it was just a grazing shot to the head. So, but we all saw the pictures in the video of him laying there like, probably because he couldn't breathe. That's probably why he looked like an idiot. Minutes later, he shot 2 more people who appeared to be trying to disarm him. Yes. Don't try. How do I word this? Really just don't try to disarm people. I mean, like if there's a real bad guy happening like that and you can try and disarm him, I mean, I guess if it's your last and only hope. But he wasn't shooting people at any time when they tried to disarm him. There was no shooting occurring at that point. He's leaving. He's trying to leave the entire time. Okay, sorry. This is going to take forever if I keep doing this. Wait. Yeah, he shot 2 more people who appeared to be trying to disarm him, then fled across state lines. He didn't flee. They let him go. For this bloody spree, prosecutors charged Rittenhouse with first-degree intentional homicide In short, a teenager obsessed with law enforcement. Why would that be? Slate magazine? Why might a teenager be obsessed with law enforcement in 2020? Would it be because of Slate and other publications like it? Decided to play the role of a cop and wound up, according to law enforcement, committing murder. Let me just say this. A cop in that situation would have shot the people the same way. In that situation, actually, I would suggest that were a cop in that situation, the body count would have been higher. Body count would have been higher. Some on the right, however, see Rittenhouse differently. As footage of the incident emerged, conservative media figures began crafting a counter-narrative in which the teenager is not a delusional vigilante, but a well-intentioned, if overzealous, patriot who shot 2 violent assailants in self-defense. 3, bitch. Rittenhouse, they suggest, is essentially a martyr who took action because Democrats would not let police do their jobs. This narrative, I mean, I don't know anything about that at all. I don't care if that's his motive or not. The motive in a self-defense case is, are you lawfully present? I guess you could argue that he wasn't lawfully present because he was out past curfew, but so is everybody else. And then the other, and doesn't seem like they're doing anything about the curfew, and whether or not the curfew is even legally enforceable is in question. But are you the aggressor? If not, then we start the self-defense analysis. He's not an aggressor, as far as we can tell. If he was, there'd be video. I'd think someone would have had it on video. Okay, back to this. The narrative rests on a racist belief deeply rooted in American history that white people must sometimes break the law to enforce it. You literally are talking about Black Lives Matter and Antifa. That's what you're talking about. That's what you're actually... That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. They're breaking the law to enforce it, to instigate social change. The near-instant rehabilitation of Rittenhouse on the right should remind us that white Americans' most heinous acts of violence can always be justified by their ideological allies. No. No, no, no. The most heinous acts of violence from white people are not justified by ideological allies. What, like Dylan Roof or whatever? Adam Lanza? These are not celebrated people, and they are actual heinous acts of violence where they went and murdered people out of nowhere. That's a vastly different case, and no one stood up to justify their acts of violence in any way. Kenosha's protest began on Sunday after Officer Rustin Shesky, who is white, repeatedly shot Jacob Blake, who is black. Notice, journalistic standards now, right? Lowercase white, uppercase black. In the back in front of his children. Video indicates that Blake was walking away from Shesky when the officer began shooting. He appeared to pose no threat. Again, not true. Not true at all. Blake is alive, but is reportedly paralyzed from the waist down. A mix of peaceful protests and riots broke out across the city, which is a majority white but has a sizable black community. By Tuesday, men carrying firearms who identified as members of a private militia stood outside local businesses, allegedly to protect them. A video shows Kenosha police handing water to these gunmen, including Rittenhouse, telling them, "We appreciate you guys. We really do." Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Justice for Kyle, man. Rittenhouse, who traveled to Kenosha from Illinois, initially joined this putative militia. but later peeled off. A video later in the evening showed him being chased by a group of black and white protesters into a parking lot. Someone else fired a gun into the air, and Joseph Rosenbaum lunged at the armed teenager. Rittenhouse responded by firing 4 times, shooting Rosenbaum in the head and killing him. Even in your own Weasley narrative, you've got him committing self-defense. He then fled the scene. Yeah, he was about to be murdered. Protesters pursued him as one shouted, "That's the shooter." Rittenhouse tripped, and multiple people made an apparent attempt to disarm him. He fired 4 shots. One bullet hit Anthony Huber in the chest, killing him. He was wielding a skateboard, which seemed to use to try to subdue Rittenhouse. Yes, thanks. The other bullet hit Gage Grosskreutz in the arm. He was holding a handgun. Now notice how this is just a pet peeve of how journalists write stories. One bullet hit. I mean, like the bullet was just floating around and ran into someone. I just hate that. He was holding a handgun, though not aiming it at anyone. Again, he was drawing the handgun when it was shot because his hands were up and it was not in his hands when he's, whoa. Then he moved forward and drew. He only wasn't aiming it because he didn't get the shot off. And yes, I know that Gage has tweeted out that his only regret is that he didn't get to empty his full magazine into Kyle Rittenhouse. Gage Grosskreutz has tweeted that he intended to murder Kyle Rittenhouse, which is fine. God, I hope Linwood is archiving all of this. Rittenhouse then walked past a group of police officers, the beginning of his flight back to Illinois. They did not stop him. No, they didn't. It's amazing. Weird. It is almost dizzying to count all the ways that Rittenhouse appears to have broken the law on Tuesday. No. Nope. Nah. Oh, he might have been out past curfew. Maybe that's a violation of the law. If the curfew's even legal and enforceable. That's about it. Breck, no, he did not admit that he fired shots. Just that he didn't get to shoot him and empty his full magazine. He allegedly twice drove across state lines carrying a firearm he was not legally permitted to possess. How do you know that? How do we know he was not permitted to possess that firearm? And I'm fairly certain that in Illinois, if a firearm is locked or, otherwise non-operable and unloaded in a trunk, that you can actually just transport it. You're legally allowed to. Strasvus Markova, 17, is old enough to carry firearms in both states. In Wisconsin, you don't need anything. In Illinois, to carry it, you would need some sort of, there's a card that you need to get. So then, here we go. Let's see. He then illegally brandished the firearm in the streets. Brandishing is a specific act. Having a firearm strapped to your chest is not brandishing. Brandishing would be, or, strapped, slung over your shoulder. Brandishing is actually brandishing at it. And there is no video that he did this prior to being attacked. He violated the Kenosha curfew that provided the basis for police to arrest protesters. Yet they didn't arrest any that day, or that at that event that we can find. He fled out of state after shooting 3 people. Actually, he didn't flee. He wasn't charged. He was free to leave the state. No police officer said, you know what, you need to remain in the state. because we're going to charge you, or we have charged you, or you're under suspicion. He was not arrested. That is not illegal. It is not illegal for him to go back to Illinois. Oh, he was holding the gun when he did the freeze move? Hold on, I'll take a look. Let's see. Is that his pistol? Because he was shot in the other arm. So here's the picture. I hate that I can't zoom in on it. Oh, it drives me nuts. Anyway, so right here is allegedly his pistol. He must have transferred it to his other arm, I guess. But because he's shot in the right arm here. So that's interesting. But I saw, that's his left hand in the picture. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is. That's his left hand that has the object. And when he draws the gun, I think he draws the gun from the hip. Left hand had a phone, right had a gun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. That's not his... Oh, wait. Is it here? Oh, God, that's tough. Yeah, I think this is the gun. I think this is the top of the gun, and this is the magazine. So, yeah, it looks like he has it. Yeah, he's got the gun. He says pause, but then he goes to... Okay. Yeah. Man. Rittenhouse is actually probably lucky there was so much filming going on. Okay. And most obviously, he killed 2 protesters. The footage indicates that 2 and possibly all 3 of Rittenhouse's victims were trying to disarm him. This dumb reporter doesn't realize that that is in his favor. That is in Rittenhouse's favor. You can't try to just disarm someone. That is considered that's considered an attack where you are now in fear. If you grab a cop's gun, he can shoot you. Period. With nothing else going on, you walk up and you grab the holster of a cop's gun, you try and grab the gun, he can draw and kill you where you stand without any other cause, and he would be 100% justified. You cannot grab someone's gun. Yeah, Breck, he does bring the weapon down. That's why everybody thought me included, were thinking he drew the weapon, because he goes like this, and then he drops his arm with the gun, and then I think he makes a motion back. But and as he stated in his tweet that he was clearly intending to shoot him. Okay. And yet, almost as soon as video of the shootings emerged, conservative media began to defend Rittenhouse. They mocked Huber for using a skateboard to attack a man packing a rifle. Yep, it was stupid of him to do that. And now he's fucking dead. Oh, wouldn't want to be mocked. Wouldn't want to be mocked when I brought a skateboard to a gunfight and got murked like an idiot. How would they mock him for attacking a man packing a rifle with a skateboard? Yeah, that was fucking stupid, wasn't it? Now he's apparently left a girlfriend and a stepdaughter. Of course, the GoFundMe money will probably provide more of a life for them than he ever would. So he probably did a fucking favor. How embarrassing is that? Well, and since, you know, he had also been convicted for felony domestic violence, Rittenhouse might have saved that woman from getting beat. Who knows? Eric Erickson said Rittenhouse was not the bad guy because he was firing on people who were attacking him. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Fox News guests asserted that Rittenhouse affected vigilante justice because he filled a void left by police. Yeah, so a Fox News guest's opinion matters about... And all these claims built toward the inevitable conclusion. Rittenhouse didn't commit first-degree intentional homicide. No, he didn't. If he did, he would have just shot that guy instead of running away. He didn't even commit murder at all. No, doesn't look like it. He was merely defending himself against a pack of thugs hell-bent on beating him. Literally, yes, you're singing the truth. And you don't know it because you're trying to be sarcastic. But that's actually what happened. That's literally what fucking happened. Damn it. Possibly to death because he tried to keep the peace. Yes! Yeah. A guy is just standing out here saying, hey, you know what? Maybe don't try and destroy this business. Maybe don't do that. And they're like, no, we're going to attack you. Fucking stupid. Let's see. In Tucker Carlson's words, how shocked are we that 17-year-olds with rifles decided they had to maintain order when no one else would? And Tucker... Yes. Whatever you think of Tucker Carlson, that's the most shocking thing about this, is that right now in 2020, we have a crisis of conscience involved in policing in this country, where we have, for the past 3.5 months, watched cities burn to the ground and watched the police be ordered to stay away. How shocked are we? We should be... This should shock us into sense. When rioters in Minneapolis approached a police precinct, the fucking police station, they were told to withdraw and give it to the rioters who burned it to the ground. How shocked are we? Unfortunately, not shocked enough is the answer. We should be devastated that a 17-year-old... When I told Lady Rackets this story, she was almost in tears, thinking about the weight of decision that a 17-year-old would make. Your whole life ahead of you. You're just getting out of the worst years that you will live. Junior high, high school. And you're going into the potential of creating your life. And he feels some obligation, whatever it may be, to cross state lines to defend something. And I disagree with that decision. I think it's terrible, especially at 17. Especially at 17, I think that was a wrong decision for him to make. I think it's stupid. I don't think anybody should be at the protests at all. Nobody. I think protests are ridiculous. But it doesn't matter what I think, right? For some reason, this 17-year-old kid thought that he should be there because other people won't do it. That should bother the shit out of us. Bothers my wife quite a bit. The narrative transforms Rittenhouse from an unstable killer to a Second Amendment hero. What evidence do we have that he's an unstable killer? We haven't... Normally, on the media victory lap on something like this, there would be dozens and dozens of questionable Facebook and Twitter posts. We'd be going back to when he was 12 and he was dropping N-words all over the place. Or we'd get his Halo online chat logs or something, where he's talking about gunning down you faggots, right? And that would be used as evidence that he was anti-gay rather than just on Xbox Live. That would be all over the place by now, and there isn't any. Why? Why? Because maybe there isn't any. That's got to be scaring. That's got to be scaring people, journalists right now. Is that if they can't find some racism or hatred from this kid, how are they gonna do this? They have to imply. They're gonna imply the racism, right? He didn't shoot any black people, though. He didn't shoot any black people at all. As far as I can tell, he didn't even shoot at black people. So where's the anger? Where's the racism? Where's their weapons? I needs me weapons. Nova Zero says, hey, hire Kyle if you're wanting to create a platinum dock wagon service. Heavily armed medical extractions. We need this in society. Nikki, this hack of reporter, is just ignorant and is the product of the public indoctrination. AGK says, the kid was from a town in Illinois that I'm only 30 minutes from. Last I heard, they instated curfew because some Facebook messages led them to believe some loot 'em ups might go down. And Random Blaze says, watch out, Nikki. YouTube pulled Donut's video on this and put it back up behind a forced age restriction after half an hour and messaged to his YouTube agent. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay. And you only need to accept a few fictions to buy into it. First, you must believe that the protesters chasing down Rittenhouse and attempting to wrest his gun away were not trying to prevent further bloodshed, but simply to brutalize him. Wait a minute. The first guy was not trying to prevent further bloodshed because there was no bloodshed. Until the first guy tried to wrest his gun away. There was zero gun violence happening from Kyle Rittenhouse when Rosenbaum went to take his gun. Bad Vibe says Kyle shot actual documented criminals in the commission of crimes. Second, you must agree that even if these protesters were trying to confiscate Rittenhouse's gun, they were wrong to do so because they were the vicious lawbreakers and he was a vulnerable peacekeeper. Literally, yes. You can't take someone's gun. I don't know how else to say it. It's one of the most obvious truths on the planet. You can't walk up to someone and take their gun. If you walked up to me to take my gun, the muzzle would be rammed into your anus and the trigger would be pulled until I was done. Like, what? I don't trust you to take a gun from me. It's mine. This is ridiculous. Third, you must embrace a definition of self-defense so capacious that it allows a gunman to legally shoot a civilian dead when that civilian is trying to seize a weapon the gunman has used to kill someone. Yes! Yes! Again. This all hinges on the Rosenbaum killing. If he beats the Rosenbaum charge, which is the weaker charge, by the way. It's not the intentional killing of Rosenbaum. It's the reckless disregard. The reckless homicide. If he beats that charge, then he acted legally in self-defense in all three clearly. You don't get to take someone's gun. Like, and the weird thing is, here's the weird thing. Here's the weird part about how self-defense works. If someone would have shot Kyle Rittenberg, they might have been able to raise a self-defense themselves. Because they could justifiably be in reasonable fear. So long as they weren't an aggressor who was, in the process of assaulting him, right? But like, actually, yeah, the last guy, Gage, if Gage had pulled and fired on Kyle, this is the weird thing. Rather than do his thing, walk up and do the hands up with the gun and then pull down, if he had pulled and just fired from like 30 yards away instead of running up to him and killed him, Gage could have probably raised a plausible, justifiable use of deadly force. Because that defense allows you to be wrong. That defense allows you to be wrong. You don't have to be correct in your assessment of fear of imminent death or bodily harm. You just have to be, you just have to have a reasonable fear. And pretty much any juror who puts himself in Gage's position at the time would have said, yeah, he's in reasonable fear. 2 people got shot right by him and the guy still got the gun and it's pointing it near his direction. He doesn't know if Kyle's going to shoot him right away, right? So he could have shot him justifiably. However, that's not what happened. So now Gage doesn't get, oh, sorry, I thought I heard something. Haunted. Gage doesn't get this option of a defense. The other problem with Gage is, of course, he's a felon carrying a handgun. Super illegal. But, and it's a domestic assault felony, so that's a federal crime. It's a federal crime as well as a Wisconsin crime. But Gage doesn't get the option. We're not weighing whether or not Gage was justified in shooting because he didn't shoot. We're analyzing whether or not Kyle is justified because he shot and he's charged. Now he gets to raise the defense. But both parties can have a reasonable expectation that they're in danger and then make a self-defense thing for any charge that comes their way. It's just a fact question. But yes, if you go to seize someone's weapon, they can shoot you. That should be obvious. Or, as the New York Times' Jamie Bowie put it, if someone is trying to stop you after you kill someone, you can continue shooting and killing in self-defense. Not really. Because if he's convicted on the first one, then actually no. Let's just do it this way. For every single charge of homicide, you have a right to assert a fact-based determination that you are in reasonable fear for your life and you exercised a justifiable use of deadly force for every single one. And they have to go through, and then the fact question is, were you in reasonable fear every single time? And you can forfeit that reasonable fear if you murder someone and then someone comes up to you. But it's a fact question for every single offense. It's not an aggregated, well, he was in reasonable fear from this period to this period, so it's all good, or he wasn't here because he gave it up. No, every single homicide. In a weird way, he could be exonerated for the killing of Rosenbaum or whatever, and then charged with the killing of Huber. And a jury could determine that or a judge or whatever, that his self-defense claim on Huber was invalid. That's possible. It's unlikely. It's possible, though. And that it was valid on Rosenbaum. Or they could say that it was not valid and that he murdered Rosenbaum, but it was valid against Huber based on the facts. Because he's still innocent. To this day, he is still presumed innocent. And certainly at the time of the shooting, he was presumed innocent. He didn't get converted into a killer. He's not convicted at that point. So this entire analysis is completely wrong, obviously. It is much easier to accept the first two propositions if you are predisposed to believe that white people are more likely to uphold the law and black people are more likely to break. There's no fucking black people there. Nobody in this is black. It has nothing to do with white versus black. Look at them. They're desperately trying to raise a race issue. Bad Vibe says Kyle shot actual documented criminals in the commission of crimes. Yep. He did. There's no way around it. That's appears to be what has happened. All right. Jesus. Like many protesters in Kenosha, Rittenhouse's victims were white. Yes. But they were part of a diverse group that pursued the 17-year-old in an apparent effort to stop him from shooting more people. And interestingly enough, in this case, it was the white people who were more likely to break the law than the black people. Because black people chasing him didn't actually violate the law. Other than being out past curfew, the same as him and everybody else there. Like, they're just running along with this event that's going. But unless they actually made a threat towards him, they didn't violate the law. But these three guys did. Let's see. In an apparent effort to stop him from shooting more people. Listen to him just adding motive in wherever he wants. That group included many black people who were also imperiled when Rittenhouse tripped and fired his weapon indiscriminately. But he didn't fire his weapon indiscriminately. He fired it very discriminately. He chose his targets rather shockingly well. The claim that these protesters had a malign plan to assault or kill Rittenhouse rather than disarm him rests on the racist assumption that a white vigilante's motives must be purer than a racially diverse group of demonstrators. Nope. No, it actually rests on the legal determination that if he raises that defense, he has a right to it. Am I certain Bicep Guy had a record? I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, he has it's a domestic assault from 2012, I think. The third proposition, that the gunman was merely defending himself, rests on a chilling vision of self-defense that would excuse homicide and limit civilians' ability to forestall future shootings. Yeah. No, actually, no. It doesn't rest on that at all. It rests on the actual proposition of self-defense, that if you're put in reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm, you have a right to justifiable use of deadly force if you have complied with the individual state's requirement to retreat. When you're on the ground, you can no longer retreat. When your assailant is touching you or grabbing for your gun, you can no longer retreat. Kyle exercised his duty to retreat. He just ran out of room both times. Wisconsin law only licensed Rittenhouse to shoot his pursuers to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. No, that's not true. Reasonable fear of imminent death or great bodily harm. Even if you're wrong. The video of the second shooting makes it quite clear this did not happen. No, that's the one. While the circumstances surrounding the first shooting remain murky, it is evident from the footage that Rittenhouse ran away, yes, carrying his rifle. Well, no. Was he supposed to do throw it like a cartoon character? Ditch his rifle and run? They would have picked it up and shot him. Or maybe you just want him to leave rifles in the street. That's fine, because a giant group of people is going to, pick it up and turn it into the police? What kind of fantasy fairyland is this guy running around in? Pursued by protesters who rightly believed he might shoot more people. Wait. What? When he tripped his pursuit... Oh, okay, so this guy can't write sentences to save his damn life. He went from talking about the first shooting to talking about the second shooting. When he tripped, his pursuers immediately tried to seize his gun. That's why he shot them, you fucking dope. These are not the actions of thugs eager to inflict bodily harm. No, they literally are. I can't take it. I can't take it. What's the most effective way to inflict bodily harm on someone? Grab the gun that's in their hand and shoot them with it. But of good Samaritans trying to stop what looked like the beginning of a mass shooting. Oh my God, hold on. What's this fucking idiot's name? Mark Joseph Stern. Hold on. Let's see. Whoa, zoomed in way too far here. Mark Joseph Stern. Here we go. Let's go ahead and compose a tweet. Hey, Mark Joseph Stern. Just read your article here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and grab this. Whoops. Oh, okay, good. Not a bad attempt. Wait. Let's see. How do I put this? How do I write this? Pretty good for room temperature IQ. You are a fucking embarrassment to journalism. Oh, I can't type. 2 S's. Embarrassment to journalism. And you should retire immediately. All of your legal analysis is flat out idiotic. There we go. That's what I got. I wish I could, you know, call him a whole bunch of funnier names, but it's fucking Twitter. You can't say anything funny on Twitter. Ban incoming. We'll see. We'll see. Jesus, what a fucking idiot. Bad vibes since the crowd literally yelled, beat his ass, get his gun. Yeah, I know. Okay, back to where we were, because I gotta finish this up. Indeed, the argument for self-defense boils down to this. If civilians try to seize a weapon from a gunman who just shot somebody in the head, that gunman has a right to shoot them. He might. He actually might. That's the shocking thing. Yes, he might. And you have to... It's not a fiction. You might have to be comfortable with that outcome. You do. Because just because someone shot someone doesn't mean that you have a right to harm them. It doesn't mean anything like that at all. If this theory were legally correct, thankfully it isn't. No, it literally is. And again, it's a fact basis, case by case analysis. If the facts are present to support the justifiable use of deadly force, it doesn't just end because you used it earlier. Or it doesn't end even if you didn't use it earlier. Then a person who tries to grab a mass shooter's gun may be legally killed by the shooter himself. Yeah, I can't even, it's too fucking stupid to respond to. I've said it too many times. I gotta keep going. Rittenhouse ultimately proved to be a mass shooter. No. I don't think he did. How are you wrong on everything? Let's see. Wisconsin definition, mass shooter. Mass shooting. Mass shootings in Wisconsin. Let's see. Mass shooting in the U.S. Let's see. I think a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more victims, isn't it? Isn't that what they did? Let's see. Mass shootings are incidents involving multiple victims. The precise inclusion criteria are disputed, and there is no broadly accepted definition. One definition is an act of public firearm violence, excluding gang killings, domestic killings. Let's see. Definitions. Let's see. The Investigative Assistance for Violent Crimes Act of 2012, signed into law January 2013, defines a mass killing as one resulting in at least 3 victims. Oh, damn it. Excluding the perpetrator. Oh, he is. Okay. He gets this one. He gets this one. It's 3 now, according to that in 2013, apparently. In 2015, the Congressional Research Service does not define a mass shooting, but does define a public mass shooting for the purposes of its report entitled Mass Murder with Firearms as multiple homicide incident in which 4 or more victims are murdered. Let's see, this one. A broader definition is used by the Gun Violence Archive is that 4 or more shot or killed, not including the shooter. The definition of 4 people shot, regardless of whether or not that results in injury or death, is often used by media, press, and nonprofit. So it's between, the one thing has it as 3, everything else has it as 4. I've always seen it as 4. I've always seen it as 4. No, it's not on screen. It's just from Wikipedia. But yeah. 1 in illegal possession of a firearm, likely wrong. A gun that police allowed him to carry even after he had apparently shot 3 people a block in front of their squad cars. You know why? Because he wasn't in illegal possession of it. Wait, didn't they say... let's see. What's your name? What's your name again? Damn it. Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. Are you familiar? In this thing, he mentions that there's pictures of Kyle with police. Let's see. Kyle Rittenhouse with police. Images. Feel like there was one thing saying that there's footage of him meeting with police and handing out water or something. Let's see. Is this one of the... No, go away. Oh my gosh, I hate this. I'm trying to find any footage of that at all. Because wouldn't it be funny if he had the firearm while the police were giving him water? That'd be even funnier. Right? So we're supposed to believe that this guy... Actually, I mean, I think that's the safe assumption, right? There's video of them getting water. Was he carrying at the time? No, I didn't say you said it, Chilling Tales. It was in the article. I just wondered if you had seen it. Yeah, he did. Good job. So the cops apparently were fine with him carrying it then. He was around adult supervision at the time the police saw him. He was around adult supervision at the later time too, right? He's surrounded by adults. Just sent the link. You sent it to me on Twitter or something? Let's see. I just can't. I don't know. Jesus. Bainling, is that... What is that? Oh, that's the Biden thing. So anyway, let's get through this. I'm fucking getting tired of this guy. A gun that police allowed him to carry, shot 3 people a block in front of their squad cars. The cops who ordered protesters to disperse for violating curfew did not order an obviously underage teen to put down his assault weapon. No. You know why? Because Wisconsin cops know the law better than you. Tucker Carlson got it backward. The question here is why anyone is shocked that protesters tried to disarm a vigilante when law enforcement refused. You've got the events backwards, you dope. Law enforcement didn't refuse to disarm him. They would have had to disarm him prior to that happening or have an attempt to do it. They didn't. The vigilantes were the protesters. Ugh. After all, as University of Washington professor Dan Berger pointed out after that Charlottesville, Virginia catastrophe, police have a lengthy history of complicity with right-wing insurgents. How much longer is this? Oh my God. Couple paragraphs. American law enforcement have viewed far-right paramilitary groups as allies in the fight against true subversives and radicals, such as civil rights demonstrators of the 60s. They assume that white gunmen toting assault weapons who speak favorably of law enforcement are more trustworthy and peacefully than racially diverse protesters who criticize the cops. I mean, this writes itself, right? The jokes write themselves. Yeah. They assume that people who speak favorably about cops are more likely to be trustworthy to them than someone who criticizes and says, fuck the police coming straight from the underground. That's not a mystery. That's not a mystery at all. When officers thanks Kenosha's militia while threatening to arrest protesters, even though the militia and the protesters were both violating curfew, they carried on this tradition. Actually, if we're being technical, weren't the militia people on private property? And wasn't the owner of that property present? I don't know if the owner of the property was present, but they were on private property. I don't know that a curfew can keep you off of private property. They can't go inside, right? Going inside would violate the COVID, the social distancing orders, I'm thinking. Wild. Let's see. They carried on this tradition when Kenosha Police Chief Daniel Miskins blamed protesters for their own deaths because they broke curfew. That was kind of funny. He carried on this tradition when officers let Rittenhouse walk backwards, illegally armed with a gun he had just used to kill 2 men and injure another, and drive back to Illinois. They carried on this tradition too. These officers perceived a racially diverse group of demonstrators to be more of a threat than a cadre of heavily armed white men. It is not difficult to guess why. No, it's not. Because actually the racially diverse group of demonstrators, and this has nothing to do with its racial diversity, was the one committing most of the violent acts in the area. They're actually committing crimes constantly. Breaking stuff, vandalizing things, firebombing things, attacking people. Whereas the heavily armed white men, here's the interesting thing about heavily armed people. When they commit a crime, you know they do because there's gunshots. Very often. That's the whole point. In fact, armed people are largely, it's a weird conundrum, but they tend to be more peaceful because the risk of their violence is greater. They're not throwing a hand, they're throwing a bullet. Anyway, let's wrap this up. That's the end of this article. Oh wait, no, it's not. Jesus. After Jacob Blake's shooting, conservative media hunted for evidence that might exonerate the officer. fixating on the presence of a knife in Blake's car, a car that he entered against orders of police. It's something that people get shot for. After Rittenhouse shot 3 protesters, the right hunted for evidence that might exonerate the shooter, settling on the fantasy that these protesters were... The crazy thing is Blake could have not had a knife in the car, and that shooting's justified. The right hunted for evidence that might exonerate the shooter, settling on the fantasy that those protesters were the real vigilantes who got what was coming to them. I never thought of them as vigilantes. I thought of them as criminals. Until your article. Thanks for converting me. The lesson here is simple. A white man with a gun is innocent until proven guilty. Yes. His victims are guilty until proven innocent. In an interesting way, yes. Once self-defense is asserted, yes. That is the way the presumption goes. Because the state will have to prove that he was more guilty than them. So you nailed it. Good job. It is a lesson tragically embedded in American history, and one that racist, far-right militias around the country will surely take to heart this week. Well, the non-racist ones too. Because it's nice to know how the law works. Jesus. What a stupid article. Okay. We are gonna do... what are we doing? Okay, we're gonna do the chats. God. We're gonna do the chats, and then we're gonna wrap up. That is the that's the topics we got today. I did Rosenbaum out of order. Thanks guys for helping me track down the actual links to his offender stuff, because they got memory hold on the internet. Bill, I see what you're saying about Andy No. I saw that earlier. Yeah. But we covered him. He's allegedly a pedophile from his old conviction. He was charged with domestic violence and domestic assault at the time, and skipping bail as well. So good job on that. At least they won't have to worry about future appearances. I don't think he's going to make them. But yeah, everybody Kyle Rittenhouse shot just happened to be a criminal. I wonder why. What are the odds? What are the odds that everybody he shot shoots 3 people and all of them have violent rap sheets? Only all of them, though. It's impossible. It's an impossible odd unless the groups of people roving around Kenosha, Wisconsin, destroying the town, might have a proclivity towards violent criminal acts. There might be a higher percentage of violent criminals in that particular group of people than there is in the greater Kenosha, Wisconsin area, or anywhere else in the country. But the odds of you going to like a grocery store and pointing at 3 random men and having all of those men have pedophilia or domestic assault and domestic violence convictions is almost impossible. It's almost impossible. But okay, let's do this, and then we've got to finish up Blue Mountain State. So I'm gonna burn through these quickly tonight. Thank you all for watching. Watch party on Twitch after. We're going to finish up season 3 of Blue Mountain State, and then I've got to go to bed because I got to get up and drive like 10 hours tomorrow. So will be fun times, and we will see you guys soon. We will see you guys soon. Okay. Crusader Saracen says, is it true that we Asians are considered white people now? Yes. Does this mean I get a white privilege card on top of my N-word pass? Dude, why would you downgrade the Asian privilege card for a white privilege card? He says, by Allah, I am unstoppable. Yeah, don't turn in your Asian privilege card for a white one. You'll make less money, statistically. Blue Samurai Zero says, last night, Wednesday, I saw Joe Rosenbaum's entry in the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry. I wanted to verify the screenshots myself. He was there. Andy knows tweeted screenshots are real, not doctored. Can't stick around too long. Have a good night. Hey, thank you. Thank you. We figured it out. Forky says, just saw a pic of a dude named Jacob Marshall, friend of Grosskreutz, pic with him after surgery, saying Grosskreutz said his only regret was not killing the kid and hesitating to pull the gun before emptying the mag into him. Criminal implications? Yeah, absolute. Well, not necessarily criminal implications, but self-defense implications. Self-defense implications, definitely. Sauce? No, I doubt it. Gay Jew in Trump's America says, oy vey, Nicholas, something not known by many of you not gay, not Jews in Trump's America, as demonstrated by my fine brother, for the wonderful, unbiased, and in no way propaganda outlet state, is all us Jews have mind-reading powers, praise be to God, you schlemil. So that's from Gay Jew in Trump's America. Thank you. Silky Johnson says, hey, Nick, I remember you talking about Congress trying to give itself a veto. Do you know when that was? That sounds like an interesting bit of history. Also, how was the sole organ doctrine before and after Curtis Wright v. U.S.? However much you'd like to say, thank you. Those are long discussions. I don't remember the case offhand. The congressional veto is somewhere in it's if you look up congressional veto and Supreme Court, you'll find the case reference. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. How was the sole organ doctrine before and after Curtis Wright v. U.S.? I don't know what exactly you're asking, but the sole organ doctrine is that the president, the executive branch, is the sole organ of foreign relations, and so Congress can't really question foreign policy questions of the executive. I don't know how to answer that question. I'm not entirely sure what you're asking, but the sole organ doctrine we'll have to cover at some point when it's prudent. But it's an interesting idea. Crusader Saracen says, a pedo and a wife beater walk into a bar. Satan says, oh fuck, no, not you guys, and yeets them back into the lower levels where they belong. Jay Galt, 1776, says, why are leftists so eager to smear this man? When about a month ago they were insulting right-wingers for failing to defend their country and statues. How long have they been waiting to write this type of article? Optics win or loss in your opinion? It depends, man. It's a win for their own audience. They're going back to their base, right? It's Slate. Slate's garbage, and Slate readers will eat it up and be like, yeah, this guy's right. He knows what he's talking about. But it is funny because, yeah, the irony should not be lost that they're like, why won't the white people with guns come out and do something? Well, then they did, and they got mad about it. Silky Johnson says these articles are like Dr. Breen and the Overwatch voice in Half-Life 2. Citizen, reminder, inaction is conspiracy. Report counter behavior to Civil Protection Team immediately. Let me remind all citizens of the dangers of magical thinking. Eerie. Crusader Saracen says, in all seriousness, how hard has society failed that a boy must take up arms to do what he feels is right? We've all failed. We've all failed that. 17 is far too young to be fighting and killing. I lament the loss of innocence. May God resolve any pain of his heart and give him absolution. That's a noble prayer. Kermit the Frog says, hey, Nick, what does your gay Jew impression sound like? Why does your gay Jew impression sound like Bernie Sanders? I don't know. The mysteries will never cease. Heinrich Berndowski says, is there an actual verified fundraiser for Kyle? Yes. We had it earlier in the show. Toby Garton says, is there any Vic news? Is Vic staying optimistic about the appeal and could he still win? The only Vic news is that the case will be taken under advisement by the Court of Appeals on September 22nd. I don't know if he's staying optimistic. Yes, he can still win. It's a longer shot. Appeals are hard. So we'll see. We just have to wait for the court's ruling. By the way, guys, just so you know, this video will be unlisted following the stream. The link will always work to it. It will be added to the playlist for August streams and the overall playlist for all live streams. And that is, you know, that will occur right away. It'll be up at the normal time, but it will be unlisted, so you won't be able to find it on the main page. And that is something I need to remind people of every single time. All of the streams will be in monthly archives, and then in the one monthly playlist, and then the one main playlist with all of the streams will be available as well. So you can always find them there, but they won't be available in the easily visible, easily visible front page anymore. Richard Kerr says, maybe I missed it, but how does federal law play into the Rittenhouse situation, him traveling across state and such? They could determine that he crossed state lines with the intent to kill someone. They'd have to have a lot of evidence for that. I don't think they've got any evidence that he illegally transported a gun across state lines. They would have to, we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that. I don't know of anything. There doesn't appear to be any federal charges at this point. Immortal Thor says, I was thinking he may have been an 18-year-old with an underage girlfriend. Don't think that'd get him 10 in the slammer if it was that menial, though. Yeah. Well, he also had a lot of disciplinary violations, but it looked like he was sentenced to 10 years and then got an extra couple. Agrilith says, so a 17-year-old with a gun / shrug. Yeah, most people, it's not that big of a deal. Happens constantly in this country. Pirate Chan says, check Facebook Messenger for Joseph Rosenbaum link. Thank you, but I think we got it. Amateur Anth says, what if you say, we're going to hang these politicians for treason against the Constitution? That's probably protected political speech. I don't think that would qualify as a threat. CJ says, would I will gouge out your eyes and skull fook you be considered a threat? Full Metal Jacket. And if so, could movie quoting be a defense? Yes, movie quoting can be a defense because they have to prove that you intended to convey a threat. Now, you can convey a threat with a movie quote if you wanted to. But if you're saying, no, I obviously wasn't trying to threaten them. I was telling them the quote from Full Metal Jacket and they made a big deal out of it. That's a whole different story. But no, the intent is an element of the crime that they have to prove. Pincalo, the driving ape, says chat covers the case file on mobile full screen. Oh yeah, that was what we were talking earlier. Jillian Seed says, Kyle's jury will be made up of Wisconsin boomers who probably wish he had taken out more of those Antifa goons and hate riots. Should not plead. No, he shouldn't plead. It should be dismissed. Mofo Q says, is there a militia exemption because Kyle joined one? No. CJ says, but your honor, my client was hunting snipe. Bad Vibe says, if bloods will boil, will Crips boil too? Yes. Crip boil is a southern tradition. McG Man 80 says, 5.56 round will penetrate multiple times with a single round. Yeah, if things are lined up to do so. Conspiratorial Walnut says, he liked putting phallic objects in others. Makes sense. A few phallic objects were placed in him. Amateur Ant says, damn, that kid needs a Medal of Honor. He was doing God's work. Lol. ISJ 322 says, I hope not, but if Antifa shows up at his parents' house, between him and his army colonel father, we'll get way more footage of the 2% finding out. Well, he's not at his house. He's in Wisconsin. He's been extradited from Chicago or from Illinois to Wisconsin. The Buzz CJC says, did you read the horrible tweet from that squad dumpster in Congress, Ariana Presley, calling him white supremacist and the whole boat? Yes, I did. I actually retweeted it. That was pretty ridiculous. Loric Project says, just saw a video of this shooting with many men over top of it. Freaking gold. Snores 111 says, Nick, the video where Rosenbaum chases him, you can see a reporter right behind him with the camera recording. When they get released, we will know. That, I assume, is McGinnis. Bad Vibe says, just FYI, CNN calls for rioting to stop because it is helping Trump. Seriously, I saw that. That was great. ISJ 322 every single time. Bad Vibe says, wait, did the dumbass with the pistol admit to intent to commit bodily harm? Attempted murder? I don't know that you know, they have to charge that guy before anything happens, and they may. But that tweet, if nothing else, can just go to, it can certainly go towards Rittenhouse's defense. He can say, look, this is the type of person I was dealing with. Why do you think I was in reasonable fear? These people were trying to kill me. Here's one of them saying so. Mike Smith says, white is almost always used in a positive phrase, while black is not. Amateur Ant says, YouTube is a double-edged sword. Thank God for people on YouTube telling the truth about the BS riots. Meanwhile, YouTube censors vids and speech. Smack my damn head. Yep. I can't disagree with you. Amateur Ant says, for the most part, this is what happens when so-called men are raised by single moms. I guarantee most of these people rioting were raised this way. The soy is strong. Dads need to be there. I agree with you on that. Amateur Ant says, let's jail business owners over the Kung flu that is less than half of 1% death rate. Then let's only do mail-in voting because only voters can spread the BS, not the rioters with masks. Democrats/Marxist playbook. Joshua Vidrine says, armless commie is going to have to get comfy with his left hand to enjoy his cuck porn collection. Also, any news on Chris Hook coming on the show? Nope. He's got a thing in September and early on in September, and it'll probably have to wait till after that. So we'll see. Ryoji Mata says, Kyle should go after this article. I'm seeing a lot of obvious malice in this. I also don't see this article marked as opinion either. Zypher Warrior says, what are odds all three shot had a criminal record? They're really low, but they did. Oh, 100%, I guess. That's the odds. Jason of the Great Awakening says, Bards of War, Bards FM raised some interesting questions to me, such as, where were the men and police that a 17-year-old had to be on the front line protecting property from Marxist insurgents? Yeah. He didn't have to. There were other people there with guns. He didn't have to be there. He had a right to be there, but I wish he wouldn't have been there. I really do. I just don't want a 17-year-old to have to face those questions. Tyrannosaurus Rex says, this idiot journo is making the same arguments as Vaush did during his debate with over this with Destiny. Vaush also thinks you should yield to the mob. Well, maybe the mob should come for Vaush then, and then he can decide whether or not he'll yield to them. I mean, right? That's where everybody's mind changes. When the mob shows up and suddenly you're going to die if you don't do something different. Pessimism with salt for flavor says, there's a Twitter link with a photo of apparently Gage regretting not dumping his whole mag into the kid. Not sure if you saw that. Cheers from Arizona. Yep, I did. Gunnar Renee Oy says, if 3 armed Klansmen attack you, you can't shoot them or you'll be defined as a mass shooter, apparently. That seems wrong. It is wrong. But that's what the journalist says. Weirdo with a cello. It says, NBA players are so scared of cops that they buy Teslas, hoping it will make them look white. The Onion is now journalism. It's been real. I'm out. AGK says, I used to be anti-Second Amendment, but over time warmed up to it. Got my FOID, your Illinois gun card. Got a 22, then a 9mm, and just recently got a 12 gauge and an AR-15. Oh, lose them in the lake immediately. S. Cybertaz says, Kyle Rittenhouse was obviously better using Fallout VATS than Huber was playing Skate or Die. Someone needs to add those effects to the video. No. Skate or die. Isaiah Smith says, these jerks are a bunch of rats. Their strategy is to gaslight and demoralize us. Also, the prosecutor and the other politicians should be tried for treason. Angry Baneling says, please get Andy No on the show, Nick. Hashtag riot-splaining. I'll ask him. I've never talked to him before. Dark Loosh G says, I wonder if someone will make a Rittenhouse Roadhouse meme. No one important says, did you hear that one clip of Rial using her main character to say she's down to F and then says, take it easy, I know they're children? Max hypocrite. Gross. Cute Nerd says, can you talk about Obama's repeal of the Smith-Moot Act of 1948 law that prevents U.S. government from distributing propaganda in America? Not today. I don't know anything about it. And Dan Platt says, just DM'd you on Twitter, fundraiser link for Kyle's legal fund. Yeah, we had it up earlier. So, and the moderators are free to share it, but I'm not going to pull it up again because we are ending the show almost, Let's see. Crusader Saracen says, so if Kyle is being represented pro bono, then where does the money fundraising for his defense go? I don't know that he's being represented pro bono, but I think the indication from Lynn Wood was maybe that they would represent him and that any money fundraised for his defense would go to pay for the defense. But I mean, you're talking about a $100,000 case. Multiple homicide, massive media attention, with a complicated, I know it shouldn't be, but it is a complicated self-defense issue. It's a $100,000 case, so they'll probably just absorb the costs of the defense and then offset it with any money. Who knows what they do with it after that? I'm sure they'll make it known. The Coke Master says, how ironic that those who support Black Lives Matter are trying so hard to defend a criminal who said the N-word on camera. Amazing. It is. Grand Admiral Fuckface says, if Kyle is smart, he would sue the shit out of all those people calling him a white supremacist murderer like Nick Sandman. I think, yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Ryan79 says that skateboarder took skate or die literally. AGK says, just went on a boat ride with all my guns. Wouldn't you know it, I lost them all. And Phoenix Lord Asserman says, an episode discussing the riots in blue cities with Razorfist would be interesting. It's got some good takes on the situation, I think. That'd be a good one. I got to talk to him. I think I owe him a direct message anyway. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. I'll be over on Twitch in just a minute. Let's get this outro playing. And we'll see you over there in just a bit. Nya says, that kid's a hero. All right, guys. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes madder, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of Lafroy. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the deposed on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet,